The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky has a bold vision for what the Jets will look like with Justin Fields in 2025. Is it realistic? We'll talk about that and much more. Robby Sabo joins us in his weekly spot. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go here on a Tuesday. Welcome in, everybody. Click the like button. Please, please, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We have the Elite Eight, our final Elite Eight matchup in Asmaniac Madness getting underway in just a bit. It will be Mr. Bonesy versus the Lane Train for our final spot in the Final Four. Who will join King Lowski, Neil, and yesterday afternoon's winner, Gary 3D Boxing, in the Asmaniac Madness Final Four? We'll find out coming up in just a bit. But joining us right now in his weekly spot to talk all things New York Jets is our dear friend, the co-founder of JetsXFactor.com, Robby Sabo. And Robby, after I had Nani on yesterday, are you jealous that you're not the only co-founder I've already had on the show this week?
Let's pretend I knew Nani was on yesterday.
I could see you two. You paid close attention to my show yesterday.
I know exactly what's going on in every place of Jet sphere. JetX, Jake Asman. There's a little jealousy.
Did you hear the news?
That Nani was on? Yeah, just now.
Fireman Ed's coming to our draft party, baby. Buy your ticket. Let's go. We have less than 100 tickets left. A bunch of you bought tickets yesterday. Come beat Ed. Be a part of a Jet chant. Take a photo with him. Everyone's going to be there. We still have some more special guests to be announced, but Fireman Ed is confirmed. He will be there, and we're going to have a blast with him and all the Asmaniacs at Clinton Hall in New York City. So make sure you lock in your ticket. The link to do so is in the description. All you need to do is click the link, put your name and email in on the right-hand side, and boom, it will take you to where you hit purchase on how many tickets you want. Robby, This draft is soon, man. Soon. We can finally stop predicting and analyzing, and we actually could start doing this thing called reacting, and that can't come soon enough in my mind. We are just 16 days, 9 hours, 30 minutes, and 12 seconds away from the NFL draft. But who's counting?
You're not. No MetLife Stadium personnel will be working the Asman draft party, right? Like Fireman Ed's chant will be on the big screen.
Fireman Ed's chant will be on the big screen, maybe at Clinton Hall. It will not be on the big screen at MetLife.
This is what I'm alluding to, obviously.
Yep. We have rights to the Jet chant that night.
Nice.
It's the Fireman Ed one.
Nice. Yeah, dude. I listen. The draft is an industry unto itself. There's no question, and it's become so ridiculous, so fevered pitched that the idea in a lot of people's minds, the idea of taking a guy 2 spots earlier or 2 spots later, where the general draft consensus is crazy talk, and it shouldn't be that way. Have we not learned our lesson year after year after year after year that mock drafts are just light them on fire? And I understand there's an order to it. Mock drafts are important because that's what drives the value. But at the end of the day, you can't be nuts. You got to understand flexibility happens, and it's not the Bible.
We'll certainly talk about the draft, some of the options at 7 for the Jets. Get your thoughts on some of the Breece conversation this week, whether or not the Jets would contemplate actually trading him. But I want to play you something that aired yesterday on NFL Live. So the Jets, like a few other teams with first-year coaches, get the start their offseason program 2 weeks earlier than the rest of the league. So yesterday was report day for the Jets. We saw Justin Fields with his man purse and slippers on show up to the facility. And this was Dan Orlovsky providing an interesting take on what the Jets and Justin Fields should try and basically get their offense to look like in 2025.
There he is in town. All right, let's go. It's kind of exciting, isn't it?
Sure is.
Dan, the man, what's the big question for the Jets this season?
Really, what or how they use that young player, the young man that we just saw, Justin Fields, their quarterback, because Tanner Engstrand, who's their new offensive coordinator in New York, who comes from Detroit, what's the offense going to look like? What's the mixture of schematics that they're going to put together? Because here's the reality. Justin Fields since 2021 averages 6 yards per carry. That's only behind Lamar Jackson and Jaden Daniels. So you absolutely want to utilize that skill set, but that's not necessarily something that this offensive coordinator saw, certainly with Jared Goff in Detroit. So what is going to be the mixture of offense scheme philosophy-wise with the athlete that Justin Fields is, but also the plenty capable thrower of the football as a quarterback? Can they find that perfect marriage?
Can they find that perfect marriage, Robbie? Your thoughts on Dan's comments there?
It's going to be, and mark my words, it's going to be a JV Baltimore Philly type offense. That it's going to be a mixture of Baltimore, Philly, and the current Chargers, where Greg Roman and Harbaugh are. Ground and pound, yes, but not in the traditional sense. It's going to be ground and pound with Fields firmly in the mix. So we got all the talk about Hall, which we're going to get into. Hall, I guarantee you, Glenn is looking at it from a 33% perspective with Hall, Allen, and Isaiah Davis. And to go even further, think 40% Fields, 20 Hall, 20 Davis, 20 Allen. All four guys getting carries, with Hall being more in the pass game. I think he's going to, when we think about Allen and Hall, I think it'll be very different in this offense. Allen more north-south, get to the line, hit the hole hard, and Breece Hall being a jack-of-all-trades type dude. Listen, Orlovsky touched on some of the things. RPOs, naked boots, zones, zone reads. It's going to be everything and anything to scheme up open guys in one read concepts. Now, the Field stands take that and say, why do you shit on Fields? He could do more than that. He can. Then that's their goal, to get more out of it for him. But guess what? In this league, you don't have to. Like, this is the thing people don't understand. You're not shitting on a guy when you say that one read offense is the plan. And that's what's going around the NFL these days. There's a lot of offenses like that. It's not as cut and dry as everything's a one read. No, of course not. But when you say that, that's what it's built on. That's the genesis of the scheme.
Well, the question I have is Tanner Engstrand the right guy for that? And we don't know. We're going to have to see it. And that's the great unknown with the 2025 Jets. Unknown at quarterback, certainly an unknown at head coach, and a play caller who's never done it before. He's been around good play callers. He's been around Harbaugh. He's been around, obviously, Ben Johnson. He was the pass game coordinator the previous season. We just don't know. That's why, this team could be decent. This team could suck. There's a great variable on what the 2025 Jets are. Yeah,
and here's the thing. It's, the Jets fans aren't optimistic. They're at an all-time low, and I get it. I put up a 10-minute breakdown on one play with Fields yesterday on Twitter. And, the majority were Jets fans that were not optimistic. Thank you for trying to cheer us up, but I'm not optimistic. No hope. All I'll say is this. The same reason why you're angry at the Jets for failing in the last 2 years, coaching, which I firmly believe that's the reason, is the same reason you should be somewhat optimistic this year because of coaching. If Glenn is the real deal and this coaching staff is the real deal, Fields could have a Pro Bowl season. I don't care what his struggles are from the pocket. That doesn't take away the optimism in which, if great coaching is there, they could lead that quarterback to a great year. That's how this league is. We've seen Pro Bowl quarterbacks make it there when they're less efficient than Fields from the pocket. We've seen it before. So, and by the way, check it out on Twitter. The breakdown was a 1st and 10 play where it was trips 3-by-1, perfect concept against the defense, which they ran, which was a cover 2. Actually, it was Tampa, so it was probably a 3 deep. Fields could have taken the whole shot on the right side or the left side, but passed it up incorrectly, in my view. Started looking at the rush, which they were containing. They were not going wide like we see with Salah so often. They were containing. And this is Glenn. This is against Detroit when Glenn was DC. He looked at the rush, which wasn't good, reset. So from that moment on, I'd give him an F. But from that moment on, he gets an A+ because he felt the pressure, spun out of it, got to the edge, scampered left, and then found a guy for 12 yards in the middle of the field. So that's Justin Fields. I mean, he can get an F in one spot and then get an A+ in another spot that just breaks the defense's back.
Well, the other issue the Jets have right now, and look, the roster's not done. We'll see what they do in the draft. They don't have a lot of weapons outside of Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. They don't. Like, you want to sell me on Josh Reynolds? Like, okay, great. Like, we had Devontae Adams last year. Now we don't. Like, you want to try and sell me that Allen Lazard's going to stick around here and that's a positive? That's not happening. And even if it does, I've already seen what it looks like when Aaron Rodgers is not throwing in the ball. And let's not pretend like he was great with Rodgers throwing in the ball, things considered anyway. So, look, they're saying they think Fields could break out. He could do all this and that. But right now, he doesn't have a strong enough team to do it. So they got to nail this draft. And then I talked about this with Nania yesterday. Post-draft, assuming the Jets are trying to play the comp pick game, and that's why they haven't signed a lot of people. Okay, but can you get me a Tyler Lockett after the draft? Can you get me an Amari Cooper after the draft, a Keenan Allen after the draft? You have to add at least one more legit weapon to help Garrett Wilson on the outside.
Agreed. And when people have the hope that Fields is going to break out, what do you envision? What does a breakout mean in terms of stats for you? What do you think? Passing yards, touchdowns,
let me
all
look
that
at his
stuff.
Career stats. Let's see the most amount of touchdowns he's thrown in a year.
He's thrown, so 17 is his high, 17 to 11, 16 to 9, 2,200 yards, 2,500 yards, 15 games played, 13 games played. So around there.
I'm going to need him to throw at least 20 touchdowns and probably run for another 5 or 6.
See, I'm with you. And when people say he has a chance to break out and a chance to do special things, I'm not looking at the passing stats getting much better than what we've seen so far. 20 touchdowns, I think, is fair. Maybe 3,000 yards. Sure. But if he gets to 3,000 yards, that means your offense is humming, because I expect him to get close to 1,000 yards this coming year. That's how much they're going to run the ball. That's how much they're going to feature him in the run game. And if he doesn't get hurt, I'd be stunned if he's not there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be ground and pound, the likes of which we haven't seen since Rex. I mean, that
yes,
should be the plan.
Pretty much.
So let's get into the Breece conversation then. What do you make of it's not even reports. Like, it gets reported, but it's not. It's just speculation that a guy in the last year of his deal with a regime that didn't draft him and a loaded running back class, like that, maybe they're shopping him. Do you believe Breece Hall is on the 2025 Jets?
Yeah, I do, because you'd be selling low. And that's a sin when selling. So you'd be selling low. I don't think they'd like the offer they get in return. Did Nania bring up Genty, the possibility, yesterday?
We broke it down. Yep.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be a fan of it, to be honest. I think Genty's an absolute unit. But Glenn, I would bet they're happy that the whole rumors are out right now because of getting the league to think, oh, maybe the Jets are in on Genty, because I don't think they are. I think they're going to go Membu or Warren, one of the two. Membu as the clear leader. And I think Hall's going to be here because Hall brings a different skill set. Yes, he's still trying to overcome some things since getting injured. I don't think he hits the hole as hard as he should. He dances a little bit, looks for the home run when he needs to pick up 2, 3, 4 yards. But I think he's going to be here because he's the type of guy who offers this unique skill set that could make up for not having a great receiving core.
Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Congratulations to everyone who won an Asmaniac Raffle prize yesterday. If you have heard from O-Rock Games, please let him know that he's the only winner I have not been able to get a hold of. He won the signed Emerson Boozer helmet. Ladies and gentlemen, the raffle this week is an epic one. The theme is Jets retired numbers. So Joe Namath signed Super Bowl III helmet is our first raffle prize. It comes with a display case. It comes with a certificate of authentication. Everything you see there on the screen. Signed Super Bowl III helmet by Broadway Joe. Prize 1, prize 2. Signed Curtis Martin. Autograph helmet. Let's go, baby. Now, Robbie, this is a
Alon.
good question for you. You ready for this?
Yeah, Alon. He's asking me if there's Kahlua in my coffee. How the hell did you know? Go ahead.
Who
Go ahead,
asked you
sorry.
this?
Alon.
You mean Alan?
Oh, that's right. ALON is yet the 10th name to spell Allen. I forgot.
Yeah, he's very odd. Also, I think you got the name confused. That was Scott Foster asked you. I thought.
What, Kahlua? Scott Foster?
Scott Foster asked you.
Australian for beer. Yeah, that makes more sense.
I don't know. Anyway, ignore Allen. He's a douche. But let me say this. Wayne Corbett, technically not retired by the Jets, but no one's worn number 80 since. Should
Yes.
I consider Wayne Corbett as one of the retired numbers and try and get some Corbett merch for later this week in the raffle?
I think so. No one will ever wear that number again. I'd be shocked.
Yep.
Yeah.
They should just officially retire it then.
Yeah. Listen, it's. You try to think, like, what are the positives? What's the reasoning for this to go so long without retiring it unofficially? And it's one of those things I think that just built momentum, with it under its own volition. It was just organic, and it's happened before. It's not the only case. I can't think of another example, but I'm sure there are plenty. I think the Mets had one too, but I can't remember. But eventually they'll retire it, no question.
To me, it's like, what are you waiting for? It's like the Yankees with Paul O'Neill. Like every time they'd issue the number, fans would freak out. Remember, was it LaTroy Hawkins who got 21 and then fans
Yes.
were booing him and he gave away the number midseason? He changed.
Yes, yes. Yankees are tough though. Like I could never get on the organization. Well, I can't get on the new organization for dishing out numbers. The old one, yes. Steinbrenner was nuts to retire so many numbers. It was just, come on, guys, keep it special. When
if
Reggie
you're not,
Jackson,
right? But if you're not going to issue the number, like Paul O'Neill's number should have been retired. He's part of 4 World Series championship teams. Was one of the more beloved players ever.
yes, agreed. But like the genesis of the issue, I mean, geez, Reggie Jackson. Yeah, I know he had a great moment in the World Series, but how are you retiring his number?
I get it. He only played 5 years. That one is fair to subject. Yeah. But anyway, long story short, retired Jet numbers is our theme. And Robbie says we should count Corbett. So I'll keep that in mind for future prizes this week. But our top 2, Namath helmet signed, Martin helmet signed, gift away for your chance to win either of those 2 items. Ted Bundy with a super chat. Fields is crazy upside if we can unlock it. Yeah, I mean, at his best, he could be a franchise quarterback. That's if it's fully unlocked. I mean, we'll find out. No one had Sam Darnold winning 14 games this past year, so you never know every year.
It's a dangerous comment coming from a dangerous commenter.
Ted Bundy. Ted, thanks for watching the show. How's hell? Anyway, let's set the stage now for Asmaniac Madness, and then we'll talk more about the draft. Today, we will find out who will be joining our 3 other Asmaniacs in the Final 4. We started with 64, and after today's show, we'll be down to just 4. King Lowski, Neil, Gary have already punched their ticket to the Final 4. Who will join them? Will it be the Lane Train? Or will it be Mr. Bonesy? The train versus the shoe store salesman. The Knoebel truther versus the Joe Douglas truther. Only one can win. Only one seat is left. Can Bonesy knock off the Lane Train? Ladies and gentlemen, let's hand things over right now to the voice of Asmaniac Madness. Here is Jim Nance.
It's time for Asmaniac Madness. Who will cut the nets down as the top Asmaniac for 2025? Some of you don't even care, but we do. Let's get to it.
Yeah, baby. Vote, vote, vote. Bonesy or the Lane Train. Dixon Hole versus Alden Shoe Store. Your vote determines who advances. David Atkins is the first to gift on the show today. He is in the Asmaniac raffle for 1.
I need some of your mama's chicken soup.
We're going to try and get some at the draft party. Lawrence Hobson has gifted a channel membership. Yeah.
Yes.
2 new members added just like that. All right. I want to ask
How
you
many
about this.
how many 1 seeds made it?
Only none. They're all eliminated.
Lane got eliminated?
No, Lane's the last 1 seed.
Oh, and he's the Elite 8 right now. Okay.
Correct. Final 4
Gotcha.
starts tomorrow.
So how do you feel like it went? In other words, this is where my commissioner mind goes to, like when running a fantasy league or something. Did the higher seeds get an advantage in any way, or would you have to tweak it next year to make the lower seeds overcome a certain percentage in the votes?
No, I think it was pretty evenly matched. I think the committee did a great job. I mean, no one could really argue 3 of the 4 1 seeds. There was a debate on who the 4th 1 seed would be. In hindsight, probably should have been Gary based on how he has dominated over Bobby. Bobby should have been a 2 if we were to do it over. But
no,
I mean,
I'm not talking about the seeding. I'm talking about, like, say you go into first round, 1 versus 16. Okay, for the upset to happen, 16 has to get 60% of the vote instead of 51.
No, we were just going to keep it like whoever gets more votes wins.
Okay. That's where my mind goes. Like, always trying to tweak to see if something could happen. You don't want it to be chalk all the way, but
No, we had more upsets in our tournament, way more than actual March Madness did.
Yeah, and I'll take that. I'll take that for sure. Although last night's game was a near classic.
That was a horrific final 2 possessions for Houston. Like, if you're going to lose, at least lose getting a shot on the rim. I mean, they didn't even get a shot off. That's just brutal.
I've never seen a game end that way. Ever.
Unreal.
Like that was insane. It really was. And I think Samson dropped the ball because they were okay. They drew up a play to go for a 3, but you got to drill it in their heads. If Florida is protecting the 3-point land, you got to take the 2. And they were thinking 3 all the way. I think that was a problem.
I also, hot take, I didn't really enjoy that game, to be honest with you. Like, it was
really
close in score. I mean, it was so sloppy down the stretch. There was not enough scoring.
It was.
What's his name? The kid that started at Iona, who is unreal, Clayton. Like, it's not like he like lit it up and was great. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of
it wasn't
ugly.
Good.
Like, I'm an NBA guy. Like, I just think the quality is just, you can't even compare.
So yeah, I mean, listen, the quality, the NBA, so much more skilled. But I am a college hoops guy in terms of the way the game is played. But honestly, they're both really similar now because 3-point is king. Like, that's pick and roll and 3-pointers. That's the game.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Rasta Dread has joined the Asmaniac Raffle this week. He has gifted 1 channel membership. Thank you, Rasta. Super chat here from Kelly, who says, Bonesy is a legend, and I would have a menage a trois with Mr. and Mrs. Bonesy, if you know what I mean.
Trying to do the switch.
I do know what you mean, Kelly. Thank you for that. Bonesy has already agreed that his wife will wear a Jake Asman Show bikini in a potential Final 4 matchup against Gary if Gary tries to pull out his nanny in that matchup. Just looking ahead here.
Talk about a mood alter. Jeez.
J Quest says, I heard Bobby is going to fight Fireman Ed. I would hope not. Fireman Ed would put Bobby to sleep in 2 seconds.
Why? Bobby's got a problem with Fireman Ed?
He thought he did because he thought Ed wouldn't take his call because I jokingly said one time I had Ed on that. Ed's too busy for your call, Bobby.
You got him fired up.
He thought I was being serious because Bobby takes everything literal. G Money says, I have been here for years and I still did not get a membership. Well, G Money, make sure you have gift receipts turned on. Click on someone's name who gifted a membership.
Dude, you got money in your account name. What do you expect? You know,
come on, G Money, or just buy it. Yeah, buy it yourself. How about that? Just kidding. Rick says, Jake, are you nuts? The amount of effort being done in the NBA is horrendous. College ball is basketball at its finest. They play defense. They can't shot make. It's just sloppy. I'm sorry. And like when NBA players do actually play defense, to me, it's just a better product. It is. I don't love the NBA completely with how 3-point reliant it is, but like, don't tell me certain teams in the league don't play defense. Like Boston and the Knicks play defense. Cleveland plays defense. OKC plays defense. Like the good team still can play defense.
Yeah. The only what I hate is when people shit on the other. Like love one and shit on the other. That's what I hate. You could appreciate both. I think team-wise, it's still college, but I think it's more so because there are fewer games. Like, if you take the NBA playoffs, that's a different level. Like, that's a different beast. And if you take the NBA playoffs from 20 years ago, forget about it. Like, nothing beats that in my eyes. Now, there were some moments when it was too low scoring for me. You know, you don't want Knicks and Heat 77, 76. You know, you want to get into the 90s at least. But if the NBA upped the physicality a bit and tweaked the 3-point line, which I think they should do, I think they should just remove the corner 3, to be honest. It's radical, but people crush me for it, but I think that's what they should do. It would skyrocket. It would be tremendous.
Also, the issue college has now is just like the transfer portal.
That's a whole nother, that's an issue.
You got to recruit your own players every year, like your own players. It's crazy. Yeah. Nick W. writes in with an Asmaniac super chat. If Dixon Hole goes top 5, we take Clyde Midia to cover him. We all know Clyde Midia is the best cover corner and problem for Dixon Hole. Go Lane. Lane train support coming in here. He's going to need it. Bonesy off to an early lead. Look, if Dixon Hole is there at 7 and you're the Jets, you'd be foolish to not at least consider him. That's all I'm going to say on that. If he's there at 7, you have to consider him because Dixon Hole could do it all.
He's a stud.
All right. I want to ask you now about the idea of the Jets trading back from 7. There's been some speculation on some teams that could maybe be interested. There's some rumblings of Shedeur Sanders sliding a bit. Let's say Shedor's there at 7. A team wants to come up. How far are you willing to go back?
Why? I mean, I'd go back. Who are you target? Like, it depends. If it depends who's there, obviously. Membu, Warren, who are they in love with? That's the big factor to me. Are they willing to take Warren? Are they willing to take the non-right tackle, the non-offensive lineman, I should say, or the non-IDL? I mean, we can't remove that either. D tackle has to be in the mix, no matter how much he's not in the mix right now. I'm willing to move back completely and entirely. It depends on the return. And if I get a king's ransom in return, I'll drop down as far as you guys want. Honestly, that's where I am with this team. I think it's more talented than the average consensus would lead you to believe. Yet, I believe those extra assets, 2nd, 3rd round, having multiple trumps one top 10 guy in this specific situation.
I think my dream scenario would be if Pittsburgh wants to come up. Now, look, I think they're still going to end up with Rodgers when it's all said and done. But even if they have Rodgers, that doesn't stop them from maybe needing a quarterback. They're at 21. 21, I think you're in a prime spot to get maybe a Matthew Golden there. Maybe you take Ted McMillan if he slides like some expect him to. Ibuka, the receiver from Ohio State, could be in play there if you want to go weapon. Maybe Colston Loveland is still there if you're still really interested in the tight end and you don't feel like it's that big of a risk at 21 versus doing it at 7 with Warren. I don't know if Pittsburgh would move up for Shedeur or Jackson Dart, but I would at least see if Pittsburgh would be willing to come up before you do anything at 7. Because you talk about going from 21 to 7, you're getting some picks this year. You might be able to ask for their first next year. Agreed.
And Pitt is, for the superstitious people out there, Pitt makes sense based on the Broderick Jones thing that happened a couple years ago, where New England handed Pitt that pick and stole Broderick, which I don't think people are crying about it too much now. But at the time, it was a big deal. 21 is a nice spot. But how many picks in return do you expect? Like, put that together for me. Like, what would the package be?
Let's see what Pitt's has this year draft-wise.
I'll go to the draft chart, too. The old Jimmy Johnson, even though I don't know how many people still use it.
So the issue is Pittsburgh doesn't have a second-round pick. So they have pick 21. They have their next pick is 83 in the 3rd round. They have pick 123 in the 4th, 156 in the 5th. I mean, look, you would obviously do the pick swap. I'd ask for their 3rd this year, and I'd ask for their 1 next year.
Yeah, it would have to be something serious next year for sure. Yeah, it would hurt. It would hurt not to have more picks this year, but in a lot of ways, it does make sense.
I don't know if they'll do it. I think, a team to watch is maybe New Orleans at 9. If they get wind that maybe another team is eyeing their quarterback, if they like one of these guys, maybe they're willing to move up just 2 spots to secure that guy. We saw Minnesota move up 1 spot to secure J.J. McCarthy last year, so it can be done.
It can be. And who is Carolina? Who's getting mocked to Carolina the most right now?
I've seen a lot of different players that have been there. I think defensive lineman would make some sense for them. Like, could they take Jalen Walker in that spot? I could see it.
Yeah, it's
they need another receiver too. I don't know if that's too early for Tet, but they do need another receiver.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of options. I think the moral of the story right now, and yeah, it's still few and far between in terms of trade downs possibilities. But it feels like there's more momentum on that now that as opposed to a month ago. Like it felt dead a month ago. Like there's no chance to trade down. But the momentum grows, and I'm not surprised because the quicker we get to the draft, it starts happening more.
Look, if the Jets do wheel and deal, Maybe the Lane Train's prophecy will come true.
The 27 pick in the NFL draft, the New York Jets select Dixon Hall out of Arizona State. What am I, a mind reader?
I thought it was Hall. Didn't know it was Hole.
No,
That
Hall.
changes everything.
Yeah. Also, Clyde Midia, man. You really could spread it out with him.
How do you spell that?
Clyde. Midia. Mida.
Oh, I think you said Media Man.
Clyde Midia.
Okay, Clyde Media. That makes sense.
Crappy writes in. What a name.
I'm not familiar. Thank goodness.
Can you vote for a guy who lost to Neil at selling shoes? # Team Lane Train. It's a fair point. But the voters are coming out for Bonesy. I just checked the score. 64-36. We got a blowout on our hands. Mr. Bonesy is dominating. Bo checks in with a super chat. I believe we are an RPO-based offense at this point. Screenplays, quick slants, short yardage, crossing patterns. It's why I think Warren is a must. I would take Warren at 7. Robbie, your thoughts?
I would take Warren at 7 as well. I'm not an anti-Warren guy. I wasn't anti-Brock either, although it was tougher. I would grant you that it was tougher with Brock last year because of the more one-dimensional type he was. And Fashanu is going to be a player as long as he doesn't get hurt. You know, it's crazy that he's coming off an injury. Like the one really great bright spot on offense coming off an injury, other than, you know, Garrett, but he's expected at this point. I'm not opposed to Warren. I think still Membu has got to be the favorite, considered the favorite.
What do they do if Membu's not there?
I think they're taking Warren.
What if they're both somehow gone?
I think they're going to try to trade down, but I think it shifts to Graham and Campbell.
So you think they're going to go offensive line in all likelihood, no matter what?
I think trenches are a hallmark in terms of what is in Aaron Glenn's brain right now. Yeah.
Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line if you want to ask Robbie about the draft, the state of the Jets. Jets continuing their off-season program today. They get to start 2 weeks earlier than any other team because they have a first-year head coach, so they're meeting and planning and doing whatever they're doing at Florham Park. We've still yet to get a Justin Fields press conference. The Jets are trying to be as low-key
I love it.
as possible. They're not talking to the media. They're not doing interviews. The only comments we have gotten from Fields since he signed with the Jets have been with the Jets in-house media team where Ethan Greenberg interviewed him for like 2 minutes.
I love it. I kept looking when they signed him. I kept looking for that media itinerary. Just never came, and love it. I don't think anybody should treat it as something unique and special that the Jets have never done before. They did it as early as 4 years ago, before Rodgers. But you can't knock it at the same time. I think the things to look out for, if things have really changed with Glenn, and I'm sorry, social media team, I hate to say this, but less in terms of social media engagement with the players going out to practice, and it's hard to spot. Sometimes I'm not saying they're going to shut it down completely, but a more business-like approach as opposed to just, you know, flippant all the time in terms of walking out to practice, joking around, all that stuff. If Glenn is who I think he is, Denny Green, thank you, some of that stuff's going to be cut down.
Abu Dhabi Jet fan is in the Asmaniac Raffle for 5. If Graham doesn't go to the Jags, he is hard to pass up. What do they do if Graham and Membu are both on the board? Robby Sabo.
I think it's Membu.
Interesting. I think it would be Graham.
You think so?
I have a funny feeling they're going to do something that is going to be very polarizing. And Graham's a really good player, but I just think people are going to be like, if you're not going to take Warren, can you at least get us an offensive player? Like, how many times are we going to go defense early in the first round at that position?
Graham is interesting for Glenn because, okay, Wink at Michigan, they ran a 3-4. In a 3-4, the two positions at D-line are very different. You got the nose tackle, big, heavy 1-0 tech guy, and then you got the 3 tech or 4-eye, and that was Graham. That's where Quinnen usually plays. 4-3, they more marry each other. They could be more versatile, like Saleh did it. You know, both guys could have one at a 2-eye or one at a 3, and they don't have to switch strong and weak. Graham, if Glenn thinks Graham could play the 1 tech and take on blocks and gobble up blocks, then he won't hesitate. If he's worried about that, I think he won't take him. I think it's going to come down to that because you don't want a copy of Quinnen. It doesn't hurt you, but the best fit is more of a block gobbler, block eater opposite Quinnen.
Jet Jaro with a super chat. Thank you, Jet Jaro. Then we'll get to Nate's super chat right after this. Hey, guys, Sands or trade. What's your dream scenario realistically for first 3 rounds? Mine's Warren, best receiver, Trapillo, or any combo of tight end, wide receiver, right tackle. Trapillo to me is a really interesting prospect. He's played every position on the offensive line besides center, and he's been coached by an NFL head coach and Bill O'Brien at Boston College the last couple of years. So I like Trapillo as a prospect. I've seen him go in the second round in some mocks. He could be there at pick 73 for the Jets, so he's a name to watch. I like your scenario a lot, Jet Jaro, because I want Warren. I want a receiver. To me, if they go Membu, I definitely want the best weapon, whether it's tight end or receiver, with pick 42. And then whatever they don't do there, I'm on board with what they do with the 3rd round pick. That could be a tight end, could be a DT, could be a tackle. I just think they got to come away from this draft, their first 3 picks in the top 73, assuming, to your question here, no trades, with 3 starting players for their team.
I'm sort of. What was his dream scenario?
Warren, whoever the best wide receiver is, and then Ozzie Trapillo.
Okay. See, I'm different. I'm a little different. I'm Membu in the top 10, assuming they don't trade back. Membu in the top 10, and then hopefully, I don't know if this is going to happen, but we've seen tight ends get pushed back in the past. It happened in the Laporta Mayer draft. They were getting projected in the first round. They went early second. At least one of them did. I don't know if Laporta did. I think Laporta did too, early second. And then tight end in the second. That would be my ticket right there.
Hit the like button. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll continue to cut the line like Nate's super chat here. I know we like our running back depth, but does Sabo like from Kyle with a day 3 pick, especially if we move on from Breece before or on draft day?
What do you say?
You see the name there?
No.
Yeah.
There we go.
Super chat.
He's got good hands, strong hands. He rarely fumbles. I'll say that.
Strong hands?
Strong hands.
Well,
forearms are, he's not quite genty, but, you can tell he does some work.
JD writes in, not Joe Douglas. If we go 3-4, we get rid of Q and not Trav Graham either.
We're not going 3-4. I understand what you're saying, but see, Glenn, he plays multiple in theory. On paper, scheme wise, it's going to be 4-3. I mean, he'll throw odd fronts in there every now and then, and at which point, if he does throw an odd front and it's a bear look or it's just an odd look, and you need a true nose tackle, it's going to be the KC guy. I'm blanking on his name. Shoot, who's the D tackle they brought in?
Nandi.
Yeah. It'll be Nandi. But no, there will be no clear slate thinking that, okay, 3-4 Graham. It just won't be that way. It depends on how he feels about Graham in terms of the technique. He's going to want his guys up front to be doing. Eating up blocks, shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, reacting, that sort of thing. And if he thinks he could do it, he'll draft him. No problem.
Wow, the return of Keep It Simple RC. Where have you been, RC? You used to be a regular. Can you put to rest the Genty talk? Why are we wasting our breath on this? I mean, I agree. I will flip a you-know-what if they take Aston Genty at 7.
I wouldn't be too happy either. I got to be honest. And it has nothing to do against Genty. It's running back discrimination. Just like defensive players are discriminated against with the rules and this new era, the past 15 years, same for running backs in the draft. It's just the way it is.
Spider Jetman with an almost Subway ride worthy super chat here. $1.99. Thank you, Spider Jetman. If you got a question that was supposed to be attached to this, write it in. We'll bring it up. Bang Mateo says 4.91 speed and the Parrots can't sing the name Membu. Okay, so Bang is already hating on Armin Membu before the Jets have even picked him.
That's what you took from that?
Yeah, I speak fluent Bang Mateo after doing this now for 4 years.
Poor soul.
So, yeah, it's not great.
You poor bastard. Listen, Membu, Hey, they could be thinking like Bang. We don't know. Um, I'm surprised Bang doesn't like Mihoff, but that's another story. Membu, he's that prototypical road grader. You want at right tackle in this type of offense. I think that's what's so intriguing about that possibility.
Jaden says, I'd pay to see Jake flip a bleep. Well, some of you already have because you bought your tickets to the draft party. So if they do take Genty, you'll see it. You'll see it live and in person.
Yeah, if that does happen, I would. I'll probably go into hiding for a good 48 hours to let everyone cool off before I come back and show face.
Jetaholic in the house. Best fit in the draft at quarterback behind Fields and Tyrod on day 2 or day 3. I've been thinking Milrow as a dart throw / project thoughts. I like McCord too. I like Milrow. Yeah. I think he's going to get drafted a lot higher than most of us maybe originally anticipated because of his freak athleticism. A team will look at him as like the highest upside guy that we could develop. McCord to me would be a solid day 3 pick. You know, you take him in the 4th round, one of your 2 forwards. I understand that. 5th round pick. I like McCord. He's got some talent, and he grew up a Jet fan, so I'm biased and say take him.
Milrow, in terms of a fit into this offense, yes, he's the best fit. Quote unquote fit. I think so. But in terms of a quarterback, I like Show the best so far. The injuries concern me. He needs to drink some milk. 3 broken bones in 3 years is not good. I think it was a clavicle and a leg, if I'm not mistaken. That's not good. But pure quarterback, what I see on film, I think it's Show that I like the most. McCord, I go back and forth on with McCord. I don't know, man. He's everything I see. His throwing, how he reads the fields, his size, his motion, his throwing motion, I don't really love. But the person, who is the person? I don't know who McCord is, what drives him. That's the wild card to me. But yeah, that's my answer. Milrow fits the best, but Show I like the best.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Update in Asmaniac Madness. It is all Bonesy. The train is about to crash for the Lane train. 65-35. Bonesy on his way to the Final Four. All right, let's open up the call-in line right now. If you want to speak with Robby Sabo or myself, call in on the Gustbuster Umbrella Hotline. Appreciate all of you in the house watching the show, supporting this wonderful channel. Ladies and gentlemen, first up on the Gustbuster Hotline is the man on his way to the Final Four.
The only thing better than all them shoes is Joey D, cause he totally rules. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody. Damn, this show is crazy.
Fellas, what's up? Rob,
what's up,
Bonesy?
What's up, Bonesy?
Say hi to Rex. This old man's been here since Rex Ryan days. This is my guy right here.
Rex.
Yeah, my dog is at my feet right now. Not gonna try to pick her up though. Little heftier than Rex over here.
Yeah, this is a little guy. He's my man. He's my man. But so, Robbie, what do you think about Did you hear that Kyle Pitts trade back? We get Kyle Pitts and Atlantis next year first, and we go back to 12. Would you entertain that?
I would not. Well, say it again, and I should know this because it was on JetX.
Kyle Pitts, right?
Yeah.
And obviously Atlantis first, and they move up to 7. We move back to 12, and then we get their next year's first.
We'd get their next year's first and
as
Pitts.
Well. So basically, like 2 firsts and Kyle Pitts to move up the to 7.
I mean, I'm not saying no to that deal, but that
doesn't sound. When I heard that, I was like, I don't like Kyle Pitts at all, to be honest. But
I don't think that's
Yeah, move 5 spots back and get a first-round pick in the future. I don't think Atlanta would do that unless they really, really like someone like, they don't need a quarterback, obviously, so it's not going to be jumping up for that. But
yeah, that specific deal, I would do it in a heartbeat, and it's not because of Pitts. It's because of the first rounder.
Agreed.
I get it. The value to move up those several spots is large. But Pitts isn't the type of guy I want in this offense.
I know.
If he was, if he was 20 pounds lighter, I would take him and move him to receiver, honestly. And he'd be the receiver too, but he's not. He's not He doesn't have that explosiveness to play receiver, and I don't want him in this offense as tight ends. But that trade you laid out, yeah, I would do it in a heartbeat.
I would do it, Bonesy, because I'm getting a first next year, so I don't really care what else I'm getting. Like,
right,
Pitts
I'm with you.
Like, fine, I'll take him for a year, whatever. I don't think he's going to be a Jet long term, but I'm getting a first next year, and I'm still in the top 15 to get a good player. So I don't think Atlanta. This idea that Atlanta's doing that is not coming from anywhere legit. People are just speculating. There's
who originated that?
Some guy on Twitter just threw it out there. Oh, the Atlanta could trade up to 7 with the Jets, and they could take Jalon Walker because he went to Georgia and they're in Atlanta. It's
one of Atlanta's.
Oh, that sounds ridiculous.
One of Atlanta's people originated that.
A guy who I think is a content creator for the Falcons said it. He's not reporting it though. People have no idea where to get info from these days. It's never been worse.
It's the wild, wild west.
It drives me crazy when I get asked about things. They're not real. Like this whole Breece thing is not real. It was never a thing.
It used to drive me nuts when I first started creating my first site, ESNY, and maybe a little bit when I first started creating JetX, but now I just laugh. It's hilarious. Like, listen, if you really want, and I can't even say this. I was about to say, if you really want the news, go to Google News, go to Apple News, but you can't even do that anymore because it's been infested by ridiculous headlines. If you search New York Jets, you get all this crap. It's awful. It's just beyond awful.
I agree. I don't see us trading Breece or Quincy. People were floating that idea too. Quincy fits in our system. Why would we trade Quincy for a day 3 pick if next year he'll probably sign for decent money and we'll get a comp day 3 pick?
Quincy is the one I could buy because
you think so?
Yeah, because him and Sherwood are very similar players, and knowing Glenn, he had Jack Campbell in Detroit. Campbell fills the run. He's hard. He's heavy. Quincy's small. Sherwood's on the smaller side. He keeps Sherwood. But if they stayed together, that duo, Quincy and Sherwood, great east-west, great pursuit, great in coverage, but they're light in terms of run fitting. Like Sherwood would have to be the guy who fills and spills as opposed to Quincy. If you watch the tape last year, these two guys often tried to go around blocks a lot. And you can't do that all the time. You have to sometimes fill and spill, and they're just not heavy enough. So I could see Quincy being traded, unfortunately.
Bonesy, holy crap. You're loved when someone's spending $50 on you.
Bo
C, one word, Bonesy.
My God.
Wow. Bo,
no, I love the Asmaniac supporting me, man. They know I'm an OG. I've been with Jake. I've been following Jake since like pre-Gator when he would get off of his Houston show with his own created intro. And then he'd go for his 25 minutes. And if there's no one in the chat, we'd just be like, all right, see you guys. So
that was the show.
Been a long time, but I appreciate you, Bo. And
Bo, you're the man down in the raffle. Also, I realized Bo sent me a picture last week of Emerson Boozer, but he also sent me a picture of Victor Green. And watching back the show, I showed the Victor Green photo and not the Emerson Boozer photo. So this is Bo with Emerson Boozer. I showed Victor Green by mistake last week, so I wanted to get out in front of that. Shout out to Bo.
Appreciate all the support, guys, and Robby. You're one of my faves, man. You've been a rock for X Factor forever. So. Love you guys, man. The Jets, man. I still, I don't know what I want to do at 7. I still can't make up my mind.
Gun to your head. Say it right now. What? Who?
God. Gun to my head. I feel like I don't know. I've got.
You got a name in your head. Just shout it out.
I'm scared of Warren. I'm scared.
Okay,
I
so
want the tight end to work out, but the 1 year wonder and our eyes being stuck on how Bowers performed so well with the Raiders is kind of, you're thinking, man, he's going to come in and block. He's a nice receiving guy, but a tight end at 7 is just so risky. Normally it doesn't work out, so Bowers is
Whoa, are you saying Kyle Brady didn't work out? What are you talking about?
I'm saying Ebron didn't work out and Kyle Pitts didn't work out and all the first round tight ends.
Yeah.
So I'm scared of Warren. Membu is to me, I like getting an offensive tackle, especially, a high productive one, but I'm worried if he's he showed out in shorts and then, we're going to buy his, I don't know. I'm nervous about this draft. I'm hoping that Spielman comes in, we're not really talking about Spielman, and Spielman being here and watching and helping Mooj out. Spielman's had a lot of good hits in his career with the Vikings, so he kind of knows what he's doing, and I respect that, and I'm glad he's in the room because it makes me feel a little better about Mooj going into his first draft because Spielman trades back a lot. He accumulates picks. He does smart moves. He's drafted so many, great players with Minnesota. So I am happy Spielman's here just to hold our hands and make sure we don't do anything stupid,
Glenn is the boss, though. I mean, Glenn is the boss for sure.
Agreed. I love how Glenn's talking, too. He wants to have his fingerprints on all three parts of the team. Like, we haven't heard that in forever. So you got to respect what Glenn says,
Yeah. Bonesy, what are your thoughts on the matchup against Gary? What are you looking at as a potential weakness to try and exploit when you two go head to head on?
With Gary, Gary's a great Asmaniac. He's been with us for a year. He showed up to the Asmaniac parties as he can. I've hung out with Gary multiple times. He's visited me at the store. Great human being, but sometimes, just like my love and defense that I get with JD and Aaron Rodgers, Gary's just as bad. He'll defend Butter to the end of the world. He'll defend achievement till the end of the world, and then when we start talking about women and he gets all sexist, it's like, yo, Gary,
oh really?
You gotta relax, bro. Saying women deserve to be in the kitchen, man. Come on, Gary. So, but Gary's still Gary. You gotta love Gary for who he is, and we'll see, man. If he pulls out something, I told you, man, we got some stuff worked up for Gary. If he pulls out any tricks, so I got the Jake Asman bikini lined up.
Man, what a Final Four! You, Gary, Neil, and King Lowski.
You knew Lowski was getting through, man. He's like the Kool-Aid man with his voice. He just busts through the wall every time.
I had him against Gorman in the Elite Eight, but Gorman got knocked off earlier.
Did too. I think I forget who I had. Yeah, I had Gorman making the Final Four, but I had Lowski going far though.
Final Four is ridiculous.
Nate says you should call on and stick a stick of butter down your throat.
I'm going to call in. I'm going to have butter, gas station pizza, chicken and pasta, and just sitting there ready to eat on camera. Is it going to be on Thursday, Jake?
No, it's going to be tomorrow afternoon. And the first Final Four matchup is going to be tomorrow morning with Neil and Lowski. And then we're going to get both Final Fours done tomorrow on the same day. And then we'll have a Final Four preview on the first show of the day, Thursday, and Thursday afternoon, which is typically a more viewed live show than the morning show for obvious reasons. We will have our championship matchup.
Man, this is what good content this has been for us. You know what I mean? Like through when we're waiting for this draft and right between the draft and free agency, like doesn't get any better, man. It really doesn't.
Mr. Bonesy, baby, a champion. Look at him. He's on his way to the Final Four if the score holds.
Appreciate
Bonesy
the love
right now.
Asmaniac family.
66-34. What a dominant showing from Mr. Bonesy. Let's play him out the right way.
The only thing better than all these shoes is sexy Rexy because he also loves feet. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody, and man, these Jets are depressing.
Yeah, buddy.
Whoa, Bundy.
Love it.
Look at this comment. M. Volette. Quincy is a thumper. Sherwood sideline to sideline. Come on, Sabo. Listen, Quincy's a thumper when tackling. You gotta. This is a distinction here. He's a thumper when tackling, and sometimes it gets him in trouble over pursuits. I think Glenn's going to be on that. But when filling the hole, when going after in clear run support fashion, it hasn't been there. Now, can it be there? Maybe. I think Glenn's going to try to find that out this summer.
Ladies and gentlemen, earlier a listener by the name of by the name of Kikuka Lake Jet fan asked what it would take to send Jaden, who's in the chat trolling, to the hole. And I jokingly wrote $1. And Kikuka Lake Jet fan wrote in, get rid of Jaden to the hole, and sent me $1.99. And I'm being serious with that one. So farewell, Jaden.
Now look what you've done.
No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the Lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
He's gone.
I see $1 was a joke. $1.99, that's big money.
Yeah. Yo, Holmes, good comment. I'm sorry. I'm reading down super chats here. Sabo, when the D tackles blow and allow O linemen to get to the second level, of course it's going to be a problem for linebackers. Fair. That is fair. And also, another point is Salah's scheme. A lot of it was attack. A lot of it was downhill. A lot of it was fly around. So it's a fair point. But still, it's got to be a focus and a priority and a question. That doesn't mean that the current guys can't fix it or adapt. I'm just saying that's got to be something that is legit, something that is on the brain.
Jaden, your whole sentence will end in 10 seconds, by the way. I have a standard around here. We can't send someone to the hole for $1.99. Come on now. The hole needs to be something we respect. It has to matter.
What was Jaden saying? What were some of the things?
He was just trolling. He was saying stuff about the draft party and Fireman Ed and Justin Fields. And he's just messing around. Jet Jarrow says, Robbie, are you in the camp of Loveland over Warren?
I'm not. Now,
you like Warren better?
I do like Warren better, but if you're going to tell me I can get Loveland in early second, which I think is near impossible at this point, but we've seen crazier things happen. I'm in the camp of Membu and Loveland as opposed to Warren and Wildcard, for sure.
Jay Graves, free Jordan. I don't know who Jordan is. Perhaps Jordan is someone that needs to be freed as well, besides just Jaden. Spider Jetman says, Tyler Warren blocking and catching with Breece Hall on the back.
Yeah, it's listen, there will be a lot of scheme stuff that focuses on other positions to replace the production a receiver 2 normally would consume if they go into the season weak at receiver. So don't count out Braylon Allen or Davis on the field with Breece together. I mean, that's possible as well.
Bang Mateo. Warren reminds me of Greg Olsen, Lax Bowers, Wiggle. Greg Olsen was a multi-time Pro Bowl tight end. That's a good pick if they take him.
Yes. Yeah. Greg Olsen was solid. And I think Warren's blocking, his upside, his ceiling is better than Loveland's. And I think it's, obviously Olsen too, as well.
Greg Olsen. Let's see what his best year was. He had over 1,000 yards as a tight end. How many times? 1, 2, 3 times. His best year was 2015. That was your Cam was MVP. 7 touchdowns, 1,100 yards, 77 receptions. Yeah, I mean, Greg Olsen was a really good player.
Jersey kid, man. Jersey kid. I'm not going to shit on his blocking. It wasn't the greatest. Different prototype, but I could see the resemblance, I guess.
Ron says, Jake, what I asked yesterday was if we should trade our first for picks for next year. No picks for this draft, just kicking it around. I don't want to completely remove myself from the first round, Ron. Like, if we're trading our first, I want to be able to swap with the team whose first we're trading with. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to not be able to pick a player in this first round completely.
Agreed. Unless I get completely blown away. That's the only way. And I'll leave that little wiggle room open, but I'm on the same boat. They need quality players now.
Let's see. Spider Jetman writes in, Fields had so many running yards called back. Well, I mean, don't commit holding penalties with Justin Fields as your quarterback. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
There's an art to that too. It's subtle, but there's an art to that that takes some time to get used to. I bet you if you tracked Hurts and Lamar Jackson, there were a lot more holding calls earlier in their career when they took over as opposed to now. It's a different way in terms of the way the O-line is asked to block. And it's a different way in terms of how the quarterback works with that O-line, in terms of does he get rid of the ball in certain concepts when they expect him to, or does he extend it? And the other thing is, if you watch the film I broke down on Twitter, it helps to have a guy with legs like that. It helps your pass pro immediately because the edge players, the DNs can't go downhill. They can't. And if they do, like a Salah system where they just freakishly go downhill, you're screwed. You have to squeeze it. So it's not as relentless of a pass rush. let's not overlook that.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now on the Gusbuster Hotline is a man that many have said looks exactly like Robby Sabo. In fact, they're now calling him Bobby Sabo. Ladies
Hey.
and gentlemen, it's time.
Hey.
Bobby.
Hey, how you like my hair, guys?
Well, that's
Yeah.
the way God made you, Bobby. Good job, brother.
Sexy baby. I look sexy. And I'm Bobby Gotti, they say too.
That's yeah.
Now, what was the one that Nick called me last week, Jake? What was his name?
Rosie O'Donnell.
No, the guy from South Korea. What was his name? North Korea?
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, that guy. Yes, he says yeah, he says I look like him too. So
You do. Are you a dictator like he is?
no, I never killed my brother. No, didn't do that.
He's killed a lot of people, not just his brother.
I know, but you don't kill your own brother. He's an idiot.
That's where we draw the line?
No, you don't kill your brother.
Okay.
Tony
Well,
G.
you don't kill anybody, but you especially don't kill your brother.
The resemblance is uncanny.
Warren's
G.
gonna be the pick. Warren's definitely.
Warren's gonna be the pick. You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they should go that other way. Bonesy was saying.
Is that what you want, or is that what you think's gonna happen?
Yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen, and that's what I want. Warren is a great tight end. He's a good blocker too. You need a good blocker, right? Don't you? Yeah.
Yes.
And Robbie, did you hear what happened to me yesterday?
Mafia business? No, what happened?
I got monetized yesterday. I'm waiting on the official.
Yeah, 300 subscribers magically appeared on his channel overnight, Robbie.
Yeah, I know. I had 372 when I went to bed the night before. Then yesterday when I woke up, it was 724.
You made them an offer.
Nothing shady about that at all.
You made them an offer they couldn't refuse, huh?
I didn't do anything. I went to bed. I didn't.
You went to the mattresses? You went to the mattresses?
All different.
You went to the
No, I
mattresses?
didn't go to the mattresses. No. But then I'm still looking for a part-time job. So. I'm still looking online, Jake.
Hey, regardless of the jokes, congrats, man. Congrats.
Yeah. Yeah, but we look alike, don't we? Look alike with the gray.
Oh yeah, we could go have a night in the town.
Who looks younger, me or you, though? Who looks younger, me or you?
It's a toss up. I think we should. That should be in next year's March Madness.
Well, I'm 56. How old are you?
27.
You are no 27. Get off. No way.
You don't believe me?
No, you're not 27.
You don't believe me?
You have
I look that old?
You look like you're 40 in your 40s.
Bobby.
How old are you? You're not
Hurt my
27.
heart. It hurt.
But how old are you really? How old are you?
Hurt in my heart, dude.
You guys hear that music?
No.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Mikey. I'm Bobby's little bro. Have you seen Jake Graves? She's so beautiful. I love my boy Jake, but not in a gay way. I am so happy. I'm not gonna touch anything, I promise.
Hey, Mikey.
Mikey.
No touching.
Guess what? Can you give me an autograph of Ray Quebec for me?
Yeah,
Yes.
he loves his Wayne Quebec.
Yes, I will. In fact, okay.
When I grew up with him.
Well, let him answer, Michael. Answer you.
It's okay.
Mike,
So somebody get me. Jake has my info. Somebody get me his address, and I'll mail it out to him because I have a few lying around here.
Wow.
Yeah, I need an autograph too from him. Then please
Okay.
send me too.
I got you guys.
This should be number one draft pick for us. Yeah, he's gonna come back to the Jets, number one draft pick.
He's
For 1 year.
listen. Him and Aaron Glenn have been chatting. He's hanging around. He's around.
Yeah, come on, Aaron Glenn, and bring him on for 1 day. Retire at Jet Stadium.
Yeah.
And Robbo, you gonna be at the draft party?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
I don't know yet. I'm still trying to work it out.
Oh, please bring Ray Quebec too. You can come with me.
Yeah, bring Corbett, Robbie.
I'm working it out. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm working it out.
Wait, come back, cat, to meet me. I'll tell him I loved him a long time ago. I told him I love him, man, the gateway.
Calm your freaky down.
Mikey, what's your favorite Jets jersey? Green or white?
Jets, I like Aaron Glenn.
No, what color jersey, Michael?
Does he like the green jerseys or the white jerseys more?
Oh, green, yeah.
Okay.
Like
all right. I have a few pictures that are different. That's why. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I like the green jerseys because
all right.
The white ones get dirty with ketchup on it. It's full ketchup.
You said cat shit on it?
It was catnip, I think he said.
He said ketchup.
I could be said cat shit. But,
ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Mikey, you had a final thought?
Yeah, the Knicks go into tomorrow tonight. The Knicks go win 123 to 116.
Let's beat the Celtics tonight, baby.
Yeah, we
got DraftKings.
Yeah. And Robo and Rob, you like the Knicks too?
Yes, I remember the Ewing days. Ewing and John Starks.
See, look how old you are. You gonorrhea and kiss on the cheek. Yeah. Oh, I got gonorrhea. Oh my God, I got gonorrhea. Kiss my cheek. Gonorrhea. You have to have sex to have gonorrhea.
Damn it.
Felt like that was the best way to transition us out of that.
I blew my cover. I'm not 27.
JYB with a super chat here on the phone, but love the raffle. By the way, Bonesy versus Orlovsky in the finals. He's calling a shot. Ladies and gentlemen, I have in front of me here your first look at the Final Four bracket officially unveiled. I know competition's ongoing, but let's call it for what it is. Bonesy is dominating this. It's 67-33 in Asmaniac Madness. So your 4 champions of each region. Champion of the Chicken Soup region, King Lowski. Champion of the Hood region, Neil. Champion of the Butter region, Gary. Champion of the Train region, Mr. Bonesy, which sets the stage now for the following 2 Final Four showdowns. Tomorrow morning, 3 seed versus 3 seed, Neil versus Lowski, winner to the national final. Tomorrow afternoon, Gary versus Bonesy, winner to the national title game, which will be played Thursday afternoon. It's down to just 4, folks. Dun, dun, dun.
I think Neil was the only one I had correctly.
Me too. Neil was the only one that I got right.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Hey,
great Final
credit
Four.
to the committee. Credit to the committee. I expected chalk in some regions, and it didn't happen.
Love it. Robbie, you're the man. Thanks as always for hopping on. Tell people what they need to know about Jets X Factor this week.
JetsXFactor.com, all that good stuff. That's it. I mean, you say good. I've realized if you say good stuff with the site, it tends to do more traffic. So good stuff.
Interesting. Good stuff. Promo code Asman for your Jet X membership. Take advantage. The Blue It film rooms, by the way, have been excellent. He's done a great job. He's coming on the show Friday to do some of that on our show.
Nice. Yeah, get him on that O-line. O-line, he's tremendous with that stuff. And trenches. I mean, he's great with everything, but very few could break it down like him with the trenches.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is Robby Sabo. Robbie, thanks for the time, man.
All right. Later.
Sabo checking in. All right. Comments, questions, super chats. Get to more of your calls coming up here. Quick reset for those of you tuning in late. We announced the winners yesterday of Asmaniac Raffle number 21. So here are the top 2 prizes for 22. We have a signed Joe Namath helmet and a signed Curtis Martin helmet. Worth noting, the Namath helmet is a Super Bowl III specific helmet. Comes with the display case and the engraving on the case. And it's signed by Broadway Joe himself. So check that out for this week's raffle. Gift the membership to have a chance to win those top 2 prizes. Jet Jarl says Lane Train gets derailed. He don't even know he's competing. That could be true. Someone's got to tell Lane eventually that he lost. Attempts to get a hold of Lane were unsuccessful. Abu Dhabi Jet fan, because of the quarterback group, Jets won't get blown away with an offensive, with an offer at 7. I agree. I think it's going to be very tough for them to get a good trade back deal. Not impossible, but I'm not expecting it. That's why I think we got to be realistic. Look, my number one choice would be trade down. We got to be realistic. This is not the mock draft simulators where there's always a deal you could take if you want to do it. More of your calls right now. The great Kyle Clifton is next. Hey, Kyle.
How you doing, Jake?
What's going on, Kyle?
I'm a little disgruntled. I got to
Uh-oh.
tell you. Because, I got to get a consultant in to work on my Q rating. Lane's a no-show from our matchup, and he cruises to victory. And now Bonesy is cruising in his matchup. That same joke in the chat before the thing that someone's going to have to tell Lane that he lost, but something's got to change for next year's tournament for me. I got to get my name out there.
Maybe you should open a shoe store.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. If I can learn to pedal the high end footwear, then maybe that'll increase my Q score. I was thinking about other teams other than Pittsburgh and New Orleans that might want to come up, and I think there's a dark horse in the teens in Seattle because the deal that they gave Sam, they can get out of very easily, and the way that things ended for him in Minnesota was shaky. So I don't think that I don't know that it's necessarily something they would do. I think it's something that they could do if they really like Shedeur. About that.
I would be a little surprised. I think they kind of made their bed with McCarthy when they moved off of Sam, and he's their guy.
I'm talking about Seattle now, though.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood what you were bringing up. Yeah. So let's see. Where is Seattle picking specifically? I'd be a little surprised. I know, you're right to your point. The Darnold contract basically has him locked in for a year. Is Seattle going to move up from 18 to 7 though? I find that hard to believe.
Suppose that they were interested in Shedeur. They're wild. They think he can run McDonald's system, whatever. What do you think that would take? The swap, a third this year and a second next year? Do you think that would do it?
A swap. So we'd go from 7 to 18, a third this year and a second next year. Could we reverse it? Could we do a second this year and then a third next year? I'd like to get a premium pick in this year's draft if I'm moving back over 10 spots.
Okay. No, I'm spitballing because I do want to desperately trade back in this draft. The more
Remember,
I think about
the Jets once gave up 3 second-round picks to move up 3 spots. I want to get at least 1 second-round pick in this trade back.
Right. That was for Sam, right?
That was for Sam. Yep. When they moved up on, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was St. Patrick's Day, 2000, and I guess it would have been 2018. Crazy.
We'll never make a better quarterback trade up for a quarterback deal than the Sanchez deal. We gave up absolutely nothing to get the guy that we wanted.
I said that to Tannenbaum. I brought that up to him. He appreciated me mentioning that because no one talks about that. The Jets traded all the way up from 18 to 5 and didn't have to trade a single first-round pick in the process and just traded away some bottom of the barrel roster players to get him. That was a great trade by Tannenbaum.
It was the safety Ibram. I think it was Brett. That was a tremendous trade. No matter how Sanchez's career panned out, because he played so well in the playoffs for us. I appreciate
100%.
the time, Jake, as usual.
Kyle, great call as always. Yeah, spot on. I said that to Mike. Mike and I, we had, I don't want to call it contentious, but it was back and forth. It was not a softball interview at the combine, but we talked about the draft and we specifically talked about that deal. And I think he doesn't get enough credit for that in Jet history. That was a great trade. And, give Tannenbaum credit too. He traded up for arguably the best player in the franchise's history. Darrelle Revis. Traded up for him. Best player I've ever watched play for the Jets. As far as just most dominant in their prime at their position. To me, it's Revis. Open phone lines if you want in on the conversation. Your comments, your questions, your super chats will continue to be read. I think we've only had 3 gifted memberships so far. So if you want in on the Asmaniac raffle, please gift away. And we will add you to the list. Ladies and gentlemen, Indy Jets joins us now. What's up, Indy?
Hey, good morning, Jake.
How are you, Indy?
Fantastic. I'm ready to just get in the car and head.
Uh-oh. Where'd you go, Indy? Hold on. There you go.
Oh, hey, we're back. Hey, there's everybody's talking about this tight end from Penn State. Tyler Warren is put up some great numbers for 1 year. But there's another tight end coming out from Tight End University. He's coming out of Iowa, and he'd be a great 5th-round pick. He's Tyler Warren is built like George Kittle. He blocks like Kittle. He catches like Kittle. I mean that, yeah. But Kittle was a 5th-round pick out of Iowa. And there's another tight end coming out that's going to be a late day 3 pick. Luke Latching or something like that. I don't remember exactly how you say his last name. If you look at what George Kittle did at Iowa, he never caught more than 30 balls in any one given year. But look what he's done in the NFL. I just think that putting so much importance on a premium pick, a number 7, even if we trade down to 10, is just too much for a tight end. When we've clearly shown you can get, if the NFL gets great production out of 3rd-round picks, 4th-round picks. George Kittle's a 5th-round pick.
I mean, Laporta was a 2nd-round pick. Obviously, Bowers did what he did last year. I see your point. I just don't know if there's a better player at 7 than Warren.
There may not be a better tight end at 7, but as far as our need is, if we're planning on doing a ground and pound again.
Also, I don't think we could just say, "Oh, there's a guy from Iowa," so that means they're all going to be.
I was just using that as an example. I'm not saying he's going to be a George Kittle. Nobody thought George Kittle was going to be George Kittle coming out of Iowa either. So all I'm saying is that the NFL has shown that you don't have to draft a tight end in the 1st round to be great, but rarely do you see a 3rd, 4th, 5th round guy on an offensive line become all pro. Right? I mean, you know what I mean? Whereas we've got the opportunity, 1, 2, even 3 of those tackles could be an all pro right tackle for us. Has more of a chance of being a great player than a 3rd or 4th round offensive tackle. Whereas with a tight end, I hope that our team isn't throwing to the tight end 120 times. I really do.
What if that
I'd rather put the ball in Breece Hall's. I'd rather have Breece catch 50 out of the backfield than I would a tight end. I would trust Breece Hall with his yards after catch more than I would Tyler Warren. So, if our tight end's getting 60, 70 catches a year, that's a good number. I don't want Brock Bowers kind of numbers because that means the rest of our team is not doing that well.
I don't know if that's true at all. I mean, the Patriots were winning Super Bowls led by a Hall of Fame tight end. The Chiefs have been a dynasty led by a Hall of Fame tight end.
And Travis Kelce is a wide receiver his blocking, what's his name? Ruckert, our tight end, Jeremy Ruckert. Jeremy Ruckert blocks better than Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is terrible blocker.
Who cares? The guy's a game-changing player. Who cares?
But he also has 2 very good quarterbacks who has thrown to him for all these years.
Yeah, and guess what? Kelce was dominant.
And that's an anomaly. That's not that's Travis Kelce is an anomaly. He's not a standard. He's not something that happens every year. You don't get a Travis Kelce every year, or every team would have a Travis Kelce.
Andy, I agree, but not every team would consider a tight end at 7. It has to be the right player. That's why Warren's in consideration. That's what we're talking about here. We're not. You're just lumping in Tyler Warren with every other tight end. That it wasn't the case with Bowers. And my issue with Bowers last year wasn't that he wasn't worthy of being in top 10 consideration. My issue was I felt like a left tackle was more apparent. We have our left tackle,
and you were right then.
5 starters. Right.
Yeah, so, you were right then too. And I think the same thing applies this year. We need a right tackle far more than we need a tight end of that type of caliber.
I'll find a right tackle at pick 42 if I need to do that, or at 73.
And you think he'll be as valuable at right tackle as a Membu?
He could be. I don't think it's crazy. How do we know Membu's going to be great? Like, you're just assuming he's going to be an all-pro. How do we know that?
Well, we don't. We don't. Like I said, the likelihood of a first round pick offensive lineman becoming an All Pro is far greater than a tight end in the NFL. I mean, the NFL just proves that. You have one. I mean, Brock Bowers is in the first round, and he had one good year so far. But you look at George Kittle. You look at Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce was a third round pick. Kelce was a third round pick. Yeah.
I understand your point, Indy. You're with the tight ends. I see your point.
Yeah.
But like if they believe Tyler Warren has a chance to be a top 5 tight end in the league, which guess what? If they take him at 7, that's what they're telling you. Right. He could be. Membu could also be good. We don't know. You got to trust this regime that they know how to pick players.
Yeah. And I'm just going by the percentages. Our percentages are higher for an offensive lineman to be great at 7 than the percentages of a tight end.
But their job is
so
to
you go with the
players.
percentages.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Their job is to pick the best player. Their job is to get it right. If there's a lower percent chance of them hitting on tight end versus offensive tackle, that doesn't mean they can't take the tight end if they believe in the player. They just better be right.
I mean,
they're open to more criticism if they take Warren and he sucks versus taking Membu and he sucks. But either way, if the guy sucks, they're going to get criticized, and they need to get it right. Joe Douglas took an offensive tackle at pick 11 in his first draft over a wide receiver, and it backfired. Right. So, like, you can still pick a bad player and get it wrong, even if it's the premium position you're supposed to be focused on.
And that's my point is if you have the if you're going to pick a good player or a bad player, the pick the player that has a higher percentage of being at least good or average. Whereas, the offensive tackle has a higher percentage. You have more likely to hit on an offensive tackle than you are to hit on a tight end at that pick. That is all I'm saying.
You're right. Like the stats back that up, but put yourself in the shoes of Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji. They don't care about percentages. Like this is like Han Solo in Star Wars. Like never tell me the odds. Like the Jets don't give a flying F about the percentages there. They're going to pick the player they think is the best. If they think Warren's their best player, they're going to take him. I think to your point, Indy, if they have the same grade on Warren and Membu, then maybe they do your percentage point and say, well, chances are we're more likely to be safer with the tackle than the tight end. But if they have a higher grade on Warren, they're taking him. That's the difference. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little worried about Warren at 7, but if he's the best player there, like he fits a need. They have no weapons on this team right now. None. We tried to build it the right way and take the right players at premium positions. Like Joe Douglas had a lot of faults. The one thing he got right was, for the most part, he spent premium picks on premium positions. Quarterback, offensive line, wide receiver, corner, pass rusher. He did that. He used a high second-round pick on a center. He took 2 different swings at left tackle while he was the GM in the first round. He traded up for AVT, who we thought would be an all-pro guard. He's been a good player. He's dealing with injuries, but, he's not a bust to this point. He used a high second-round pick on Elijah Moore. He used a high, or it might have been a late second-round because they traded down, but he used a second-round pick on Denzel Mims. Like, they weren't taking safeties. This is not Mike McCagnon, who used a top what? Jamal Adams was pick 6. And then they took Marcus May in the second round. They took 2 safeties in the first and second round under Mike McCagnon. Like, it wasn't that. Douglas wasn't perfect, but at least he understood the idea of you take premium positions early. They had to get it right. That's it. I keep seeing Jay say Warren's not worth a 7th pick. You don't know that. How do you know that, Jay? Just like Mike Vrabel's mid, right? I mean, come on. We don't know that. If Warren goes out there and is a top 5 tight end in the league, he's worth a top 7 pick. This is not the draft where there's a ton of stars. There's a lot of probably starters in this draft class. There's not superstars. You have to get the pick right. That's why teams go best player available, because it's like, when in doubt, you can't criticize me if I'm taking the best player. rather than reaching for need. Come on now. Comments, questions, super chats. Cut the line. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, we know Mr. Bonesy is on his way to the Final Four. His opponent tomorrow afternoon is none other than Gary 3D Boxing.
Chicken with pasta is worse than peanut butter with sandwich.
How are you feeling, Gary?
Good. Congrats to Bonesy. I look forward to beating him in the next round. That should be fun in the Joe Douglas matchup. His biggest fan against his biggest hater, me and Bonesy. Bonesy is still on this Joe Douglas did a good job thing, which is just mind blowing.
You guys arguing that last night on the Bobby Midnight Experience is unbelievable to me that this is still a thing.
It hasn't been that long since he's been fired, right? I mean, he was fired after what, week 13, was it, or something like that?
He got fired in November.
December, January, February, March. It's 5 months.
Yeah, but we have a new GM, a new coach. We've had an entire offseason up until this point. It's over for Douglas. He ultimately didn't win enough. He wasn't the worst GM ever. He has a very complicated resume because he did pick some good players, but he missed on too many big mistakes. That's how I would define it. He never got.
He might be the worst ever.
Right.
He's on a short list, and then at that point, it's just picking out of the garbage. It doesn't
I'm not
matter.
arguing with you about Joe Douglas.
Here's what I'll say about Joe Douglas.
He was better than McCagden and Izek. They're worse than Douglas.
Here's what I'll say about Joe Douglas. If I had a choice to run the Brooklyn Nets, a basketball team, and my only two choices were Joe Douglas or Sean Marks, you know who I would take?
Sean Marks?
Joe Douglas.
Wow, so you think Sean Marks? Wow.
Marks is the worst thing ever. Marks is just horrendous. Like, you look, he traded Kyrie, KD, and Harden. The only player that he got that's on your roster is Cam Johnson. I mean, Joe Douglas isn't even close to that bad. And then he didn't trade Cam Johnson for a draft pick. He was offered 2 first-rounders for him. It's like, this is unreal. This is unreal how bad he is. I want to say 2 things about the tight end position. First, Brock Bowers is so good. He changed the way we look at the tight end position. It went from a non-premium position, which you don't pick in the top 10, to the next year is there's going to be like 2 tight ends taking the top 10 who aren't nearly as good as
I don't think Loveland's going in the top 10.
Top 15?
That'd be a little high to me.
You think so? I think he goes to top 15. Probably not top 10 though. You're right. Probably top 15 though. That's the
top 20
Brock
maybe.
Bowers had like the Steph Curry effect on tight end. He just changed the way we look at it. Like it's that's how good Brock Bowers.
The thing with
is.
Warren's a very different type of player than Bowers though.
Yeah, but he just changed. You know, he is. But he changed the way we look at the position, how we value the position. Because if you get Brock Bowers, that now means something, right? Before it was like, okay, you get a tight end, so what? Like, kind of like what Indy was saying. It's like, well, so what if we get a tight end?
JD makes a good point here, though. Like, last year, there weren't this many good tight ends. Like, it was just Bowers in the first round.
Yeah, and the knock that you and many people said was Kyle Pitts, Eric Ebron, Hawkinson, like all these guys were taking top 10, top 12.
That was part of it, but I get lumped in with that. Like my logic was not that Bowers wasn't good. It was, to me, left tackle was too big of a need for the Jets with Rodgers coming off the Achilles and Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses being injury prone. And it was a great tackle. Oh, Olu Fashanu would be the first tackle off the board without question in this year's draft class, without a doubt.
I would think so. Yeah.
So I would they got a premium left tackle who hopefully is our guy for the next 8 to 10 years at that position.
All I said is if you pass on Bowers, whoever you take better be damn good. That better be a star.
Right, and I think Olu's really good at one of the most important positions on a team. So I think it's going to work out for both teams.
Okay, then as long as he's not a good player, not a contributing player for 12 years.
I think he will be a Pro Bowl. I think he will be a Pro Bowl level left tackle. Yes.
Okay, then it is what it is. I would have still taken Bowers, obviously, but it's fine. I'm not going to complain about it, right? Just like I would have taken Thibodeau. But
you would have taken Bowers?
What was that?
You would have taken Bowers?
Yeah.
Did somebody say Brock Bowers?
But who is the Iowa? When he said tight end U, I was thinking he was talking about Arroyo out of the U. Who is the tight end on Iowa that he's talking about?
He's like a late round pick, that tight end. Allen, pleasures himself to his highlight reel, I was told.
Okay. Tyler Warren, Loveland, Fannin, then you had Arroyo and Gunnar Helm, and the tight end from LSU. I can't even think of who the tight end of Iowa is.
I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's Luke Lacchey Lakey.
Lakey?
Lackey.
I mean,
he's a 5th or 6th round pick according to Dom C.
And why? So why?
Apparently, it's pronounced Lachey, which are already
Lachey.
just hearing that I'm out on him.
Because it's
how is that pronounced Lachey? Lachey.
I could see that. I wouldn't have guessed that, but the CH is going to make the sh sound. I could see that. What's the ethnic origin on that? Lachey.
Is he French?
That's what I was thinking. You look at it, look like an Anglo-Saxon name, but if it's French, I could see that.
He had a whopping 131 receiving yards last season.
Tight end can be a tough position because a lot of offenses don't really use tight ends as much, right? Like a lot of, especially in Texas and stuff. Well, Texas does because they have a head coach from California, but like Texas Tech, they don't use tight end. I mean, it's just not a part of their personnel mostly, right? Like they don't 4 receivers and a running back. 4 receivers and a running. They don't use a tight end on most of their plays. So the tight end, as good as maybe he's good, he just didn't get on the field. Like what's it? Rucker didn't get on the field a whole bunch for Ohio State when they ran the 2 running backs. They just didn't have him on the field a lot of times. Like it doesn't. I'm not saying Rucker's probably not a great example because he's not great, but he was a high draft pick. Rucker, it was a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick.
He was a 3rd round pick, yeah.
3rd round pick, yeah. I mean, and he didn't. If you look at his college stats, he probably only had 100, 200 receiving yards.
What are your thoughts on Bonesy saying that he's going to go after your previous comments on women?
He should do that. He made some really weird comments on the Bobby show about his wife. Some interesting comments that we don't know if he was joking or not. But
Bonesy made some comments about his wife.
Yeah, about what he would let Bobby do to his wife. It was
whoa.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
What is happening on the Bobby show?
If he wants to go against me as the sexist, I don't think that's going to go well for him. I think that's going to be an all-time back. I'm the guy that says don't go to strip clubs, treat women with respect, open the door, call them ma'am, right? Approach them with confidence, pay for the date, initiate, right? That's me. I don't think that's the battle he wants to fight.
You don't think Bonesy believes in paying for the date?
I don't know what Bonesy thinks, but I don't think that's the battle Bonesy wants to fight, is trying to turn the women against me. Because I promise you.
So you think you're going to get more of the 4% vote than Bonesy will tomorrow?
Well, first I'm going to get it on looks. And then 2, yeah, I'm better looking guy than Bonesy. Look at his hair.
I don't know.
Look at his hair.
Bonesy's very handsome.
He's very, very handsome. And I didn't say he wasn't handsome. I said I was better looking. When Johnny Depp gets his haircut, he says, just make it look like Gary 3D Box and just do it like that. No, Bonesy would be a good matchup. I love Bonesy, but clearly we have different perspectives on certain things.
If his wife comes out with a Jake Asman show bikini, how are you going to respond to that?
And then his wife comes out. His wife comes out in a Jake Asman show bikini. That's good advertising for you.
Absolutely.
I'm still gonna beat him. So his wife can come out in a Jake Asman show bikini.
What gives you the confidence? You really think you're going to beat him?
I do. I think I'm going to beat Bonesy. Why wouldn't I think that?
I think it's a 50-50 battle.
All right, and someone's got to win that, and I'm confident I can beat Bonesy. If he wants to come after me for being some kind of sexist or treating women poorly, I think he might
believes in
his own closet first.
You don't believe in achievement.
I don't know what that sentence means, and no one's been able to explain it to me.
I'm ready for the battle tomorrow, but I'll tell you what, we're going to get a preview right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
What up, Bones?
Gary.
What up, Bones?
Gary, listen, first all I'll say is you're referring to when I was joking around with Bobby. Don't forget that, like, my wife has she's done songs. She sang a song for Bobby on his birthday. And like, you know, they have a friendship. So as a joke, I did say that Bobby could grab my wife's ass if I won the Asmaniacs tournament. And if you saw Bobby's face when I said it, you'd understand why I said it, because he still hasn't stopped talking about it. So my wife's not even coming. Like, it was obviously a joke, but
I was hoping it was a joke. We thought it was a joke, but you seemed pretty straight faced when you said it. You seemed like if I win, you can grab my wife's ass. I said, if you grab my wife's ass, I'm going to make both your hands for good measure.
I mean, in reality, if Bobby did grab my wife's ass because I gave him permission to, I wouldn't be mad at him. So
you wouldn't.
I mean,
I don't
come
think
on,
I
Gary.
don't know. If Bobby grabbed my wife's ass, would I break both his hands? I might. I don't know.
Oh, come on, it's Bobby. I can understand if it was one of your boys. Bobby is on like Mount Rushmore of homies. So
he's the homie. If my best friend grabbed my wife's ass, he wouldn't be my best friend anymore, right? You know what I'm saying?
Anyway, moving on, Gary. We don't have to go into the woman thing, and we don't have to fight about that because you've already said enough for everyone with the women stuff. That's, we don't got to talk about that. I treat women very well. I mean, you want to ask this girl?
What's up, sweetheart?
But we're gonna battle. We're not talking about JD because we'll probably
talk about.
We're not talking about JD. Come on, look. The JD stuff, everyone thinks like I'm some JD simp, JD truther. I just defend him against people like you that say he's the worst GM in the world ever. Worst, just like, dude, Gary, your last two jerseys you bought for yourself were undrafted Jets players.
Yeah, I'm a Jets fan. I buy
drafted.
Jets jerseys. Of course, they're Jet. Like any Jet player was signed by Joe Douglas because I'm a Jet fan.
They're Jets undrafted players, though. Like
that
means you gotta have a little support for the guy, right? Like you got so much faith.
No, that's a coaching thing. Those players were coached up because if they were good, if they knew they were good, they would have drafted them. But it's Xavier Gibson and Tony Adams, and those both guys are on the chopping block. Like both those guys might not be here when the season starts.
I'm just saying. Those are the last two jerseys you got, and those are undrafted free agent picks by yours truly. And again,
see the graphic.
Joe, I agree with most of the stuff that people say that Joe Douglas did wrong because he did. When he didn't get a quarterback when Rodgers went down, that's like lose your job worthy. Like that was terrible. Like, that's unacceptable. Joe Douglas has done a lot. When he drafted Zach Wilson, I mean, there's no other quarterbacks to draft, but that was a terrible move as well. But then you guys refuse to talk about any of the positives that he did. Like, our roster's pretty solid. Our cap space is pretty solid. If Aaron Rodgers didn't blow out his Achilles, we'd all feel different about everything that has happened. Bad luck did play into this. Because
we said when you signed a 40-year-old quarterback who spent his offseason experimenting on drugs, it may have been a smart idea to get a backup quarterback. Now, I didn't know he was going to be 4 plays in, but guessing that guy was going to get hurt at some point wasn't a crazy bet. And to be completely unprepared, just like he was when he drafted Zach Wilson, that didn't have any veteran quarterback on the roster.
You say unprepared, though. Can you name Rodgers' backup quarterbacks throughout his career? Could you please? Because it was Tim Boyle.
Well, he had Chase Daniel, I think, it doesn't. He was 40.
Saying, for the most part, when you have Rodgers,
a 40-year-old quarterback who spent his entire offseason experimenting on drugs, you might want to have a backup quarterback ready just in case that guy gets hurt. I wasn't against signing Rodgers. I thought, okay, this is a big swing. You're either going to hit big or miss big, and it turned out you missed big. Oh well, like it happens. I think it was worth the risk.
Exactly. I think it was worth the risk as well because if he didn't get hurt, things would have been different. And, again.
That was the season. The first 2023 was the season. But he got hurt 4 plays in. Same as Vinny Testaverde. That was our
terrible.
season.
And I agree with everything you guys say that he did wrong. I just get defensive because, like, as a hardcore Jets fan who always felt you have to build through the draft. I always think we did a pretty good job of evaluating talent, and I've gotten so used to how bad we've been as a franchise in the draft, navigating the draft. We never used to make trades. We would never hit on our first-round picks in general. You can go through like the last 15 years of first-round picks, and it's like Leonard Williams, Quinnen Williams were the only guys who were really like anything. You go back, and we weren't missing like, oh, he went to a different team. He finished his NFL career in 8 years. He wasn't terrible. No, we're talking guys like Calvin Pryor and D. Milner and guys.
It's not a matter of comparing him to D. Milner. It's like it's just on his own merit. What he did good or bad? It's overwhelmingly bad. So to compare him to say, well,
would you silence or should I do one of these?
This is worse than Idzik. It's not. We're not talking about that. We're looking at what Joe Douglas did, not compared to anyone else. Just compared to Joe Douglas, it was horrible. They lost every year because of Joe Douglas. When you fail that much, there's one reason why you fail, and that's you. And as soon as you start blaming anyone else, injuries, Aaron Rodgers, anyone else, you've deflected the blame, and you're never going to get better. So Joe Douglas needs to understand that the reason why he failed is 100% Joe Douglas and 0% everyone else.
Okay. What the hell? What the hell are we talking about?
Would say he is, and I don't think anything else matters.
How do you feel about the roster right now?
I mean, it's not the worst roster. It's not terrible. We got some talent on the roster.
We have some cornerstone pieces to build around for the future.
Yes, we do
for sure.
We got a center. We're going to have for 10 years. We have a left tackle. We're going to have for 10 years. We have a right guard who's probably not coming back, but he's a solid player. Health has been an issue. I mean, Simpson was a great free agent signing. Then that's just on the offense. And then you got like cornerstone places like Sherwood.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the great
Sherwood's good. I mean, Sherwood's not like you said it's about Eccles too. Like these are good players. These aren't game-changing players. We don't have a good defense for the next 10 years because we have Eccles and Sherwood. Like they're good players. I'm glad we have them, but these aren't game-changers.
Eccles ain't on the team anymore. He got signed somewhere.
Well, yeah. But as you say, he hit on Eccles. It's like, okay.
Hey,
it doesn't,
what are you talking about? 10 years from now, we're gonna be fine. You're jumping. Now you're jumping over your head. Way out left field. Are you ass backwards? Or are you butt flying? Are you nuts? First of all, you gotta slow down, man. You're jumping the gun. You're doing train on top of train on top of train. Hey, buddy, slow down. You're not running the choo-choo train here. You gotta slow down. You're over your head in left field. Slow down.
Who's he talking? Are you talking to both of us?
Oh, Gary, he's jumping his head. He's jumping way in over his head. It's like, dude, you're not playing your cards right. You gotta learn to slow down.
Okay.
10 years.
I appreciate the advice, Speechbreaker. It is duly noted.
We're acting like a bunch of chickens with our heads cut off here. We gotta slow down and start thinking. Who do we want? What do we want to get? And who do we not want to get? Think positives, not negatives. Now, the positives are over here. The 75% we can go and get. The 25% we don't need. Okay, Membu Warren. That's great. That's good. That's great. No, but your Brock Bowers. Okay,
I'm gonna make you something.
Fine. If you want to bring Brock Bowers in, fine. Do what you have to do.
I think we should bring Brock Bowers in. We should call the Raiders right now and check in on Brock Bowers. What's it going to take to bring Bowers here? That's what we should do. We should make that call right now.
It's your decision. You make the decision.
I don't make the decision.
Somebody say Brock Bowers.
I made the decision. Brock Bowers would be in the green right now.
Whoa. Oh.
You know, Beast, I love your support.
Yeah, no, I just.
But Beast, how do you feel about cannolis?
I happily like cannolis. They're delicious. It's an Italian pastry. It's one of the best. Did you ever try?
Teach us something about cannolis, Gary.
No, Gary. Cannoli is already plural. You don't need to add an S.
Did you ever try Schiedel?
If I bought you cannoli to your place of employment, would you send the cannoli back with me, or would you keep the cannoli?
I'll tell you what.
You're still talking about this, Gary.
I'll give you 25% of the cannoli and a little bit of shea down.
I want you to keep the cannoli. I got the cannoli for you. I am glad that you gave it back to me because I ate all the
You don't, Beast. Hold on, Beast. Quiet, Beast. Give me a second to talk, Gary. When you bought those cannolis, they were absolutely delicious, and I know that you would kill for a cannoli. You came to New York for cannolis. You named your dog Cannoli. And you want to leave me with your extra cannolis? Bro, I was doing you a favor, man. I was like, hey, man, I love the gesture. You brought cannolis to the store. You get to eat these. I'll eat one like I did with you. It was delicious. But I wanted you get spent like what, like $35? It's like, man, you should enjoy.
Yeah.
You enjoy that extra cannoli because I know, like, I'll eat a cannoli whenever. Like, you are on a strict diet and you don't eat cannolis every day, so you deserve that cannoli. Don't give me that shit. You deserve those cannolis.
I appreciate that. I did. There was like four cannoli left. I think I ate all of them by the time I left. So I do appreciate that. Like, I bought it for you. I wanted you guys to have them. You sent them back to me. It was a silver lining. I said, now I get to eat all of these.
Like, I wasn't trying. I was being like a friend. Like, yo, man, you love these cannolis. Like, if we were smoking a joint and you were leaving, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take the joint. But like the cannolis, man, come on.
That's for me.
Yeah,
That's
I
all
resemble
me.
that.
Loco Puffs.
That's right, Jack. You're
Lola,
stuff,
can
baby.
you do a Jets chant for us, please? Can you do a Jets chant, please?
There you
That's
go.
That's a 3-year-old doing it right.
Hey, she got it down pat. Wow. Full flush.
Tomorrow for our matchup, I'm actually off tomorrow as well. My week off is Tuesday, Wednesday this week.
It's a Jesse Winker jersey, by the way. It's a Jesse Winker jersey. Someone said I was wearing a Phil Simmons jersey. They were trying to blaspheme my name by saying I was wearing a Giants jersey. It's a Jesse Winker jersey.
He ain't wearing a Giants jersey, but
yeah, he was trying to blaspheme my name right before the Final Four. I know what he was trying to do. I'm wearing a Giants.
You're pretty confident going into tomorrow, Gary. I think it's going to be a battle, man. You thinking you're going to dust me? I mean, listen, you're an OG. You're an OG, Gary, but I'm an OG. Like, I've been around for 3 to 4 years, like 3.5 years. You've been around for like a year and change, so I got a little OG swag on you. You know what I mean?
You're gonna need something. You're gonna have to try to pull something out of that tool bag because I got you beat.
Listen. I appreciate where we've been with this Asmaniacs tournament. What the Asmaniacs family has been supporting both of us, and let's just see how the cards play, man. Let's just see. I'm not gonna go in there saying that I'm gonna slaughter you, but I think it's gonna be a good matchup.
It's for sure going to be a good matchup, and only one person can win. That's going to be me. See, Gary winning by 10+%. I don't know if I win by 1 vote or I win by 100%. I mean, I'm going to win. I'm confident. You should be confident in yourself too. You should be confident in yourself. You're a great call. Look, you've dominated the whole way through, haven't you? You haven't even had one close call, have you?
I don't think I don't know the exact poll results, but I've had a fair share of larger victories, and I do appreciate that because they know the OG. It's all about the OGs. This tournament started off, and it was more content driven with who were the number ones. It was Lane, Charles, Bobby,
Chiefs fan, and
Chiefs
Bobby.
fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people have been voting the correct way of what should be on this channel, which is the OGs, the biggest Jet fans, and the best what you give to the show. So, but listen, I'm not gonna knock you. You're an OG, man.
I gave y'all Caleb Williams' dog water. I gave a lot of good takes that came to fruition here. And like I said, I got a Xavier Gibson jersey. If you got a Xavier Gibson jersey, there's no bigger Jet fan than you.
If you got an Xavier Gibson jersey, you're a Joe Douglas fan because you're picking his undrafted free agent guys, and you're gonna try to tell me he doesn't do a good job.
That doesn't even make any. If you thought he was so good, why didn't he draft him in the 7th round?
What do you mean? Because why didn't he get drafted in the 7th? Why didn't a different team draft him in the 7th round?
No, we're talking about Joe. If Joe Douglas recognized how good he was, why did he draft him in the 7th round? Why did he let him go?
Because he didn't have the 7th round pick.
Have him. What was that?
probably because he didn't have a 7th-round pick. And
But that guy,
wasn't that the year we picked? Didn't we pick Kuntz that year in the last round? And he didn't work out, but I think that was
why not? If you're that has to do with coaching and development, not the GM.
I'm just saying you must have believed in Gibson and Tony Adams to buy their jersey.
Who's gonna be the best of the bunch? You get to pick the ones who make the show walk.
A little preview of what's to come tomorrow in our second Final Four matchup. First matchup tomorrow morning on the show, Neil versus King Lowski, and the winner will play either Gary or Bonesy. By the way, not, I guess, official. Lane, I guess, could come back, but Bonesy's up big again, 65-35. He has dominated his run to the Final Four to this point. Let's get to some calls before we end today's show. Spider Jetman is on the line. He joins us now. Hello, Spider Jetman.
Hello, everybody. I actually had to go to my daytime job, so forgive me. I had to put on a dress shirt here. I just want to say, so like Fields is the greatest experiment. I'm all with Bonesy. That other guy, you're going to be walking around with egg on your face. Again, the whole experiment with Fields is the juice worth the squeeze. And when he was in Chicago and didn't have an O-line, and they let him rip, he had, with 2 injured games, he was about 50 yards from breaking Lamar Jackson's record. He was a little light on touchdowns, but he was just trying to get in tune with Komet. He was just trying to get in tune when they brought him. The second season they brought DJ Moore, he had 1,700 yards. He had more yards than Caleb Williams did. You got to let that guy – you got to have Breece Hall, and you got to let that guy cook. You got to give him the weapons or just don't do it at all. You got to let Fields be Fields. He's going to scramble. You want a deep ball. He's got an incredible arm. I mean, I flew out. My buddy – I live in Manhattan. I'm in the subways. I'm fighting crime all the time. I'm drunk right now, but I don't want to put the cart before the horse. And
you're drunk. It's a Tuesday, Spider Jet.
I'm sorry. Say again.
It's a Tuesday. You're drunk?
Yeah. I drank 2 bottles of Smirnoff and 4 little bottles of 99 bananas because I got to, fight crime, and it just gets kind of tough in the subway. It's been a lot more challenging. But all I'm saying is keep Breece Hall, and you gotta. I'm actually getting out of breath here. I think I'm going to die. But go Jets. You guys have a great weekend. There's my outfit I got to somehow fit into. I got the Ozempic shot, so I've been doing semi-glutides because my metabolism's been slowing down now that I'm in my 40s. But I'm going for it, baby. Let's go
Spider
Jets.
Jet. I appreciate the call. All right, Spider Jet. Interesting take there. Say hi to Eric, who's next. Hey, Eric.
Hey, Jake. So what Indy Jet was saying before about, Tyler Warren being too high, I'm still hoping that Graham makes it to 5. But if he doesn't, or even if he does, we just have to take the player that's going to most contribute to winning. It doesn't matter what position they are. A few years ago, Evan Neal was like a consensus first, Wyman in the class. He's going to be out of the league. Or Thibodeau was the best edge rusher. And, it doesn't matter what position it is. It's just our scouting team to determine who's contribute to the team. Justin Fields likes a tight end. If we take Warren, he's going to contribute. If we could get a tackle in the second or third, it happens. Tight end is becoming a more relevant position. That's why it's going higher, not just because of Brock Bowers, but Brock Bowers is a result of that.
They got to get it right. That's the big thing, Eric. I'm with you. Look, if they take Warren, they're telling you they think this guy's going to be a game-changing player if you're taking that position that high. That's the bottom line.
Exactly. You only take him if you think he's going to contribute to the offense greatly. He's not a number 1 receiver, but if you're going to use him, if you're going to be able to run the ball more effective, if you're going to be able to feed him the ball, if he's going to be a good end zone target, and you think that's going to contribute, you get him. Mamu would be great. I'm not saying he's not, but it comes down to finding the player that's going to contribute more than worrying about what position they're actually at.
Agreed. Eric, good call, man. A little choppy with the connection, so I'll let you go, but all fair points. Pork in the morning is next. Hey, Pork.
Hey, Jake. How you doing?
What's going on, Pork?
I really love Tyler Warren. I mean, not just saying that because I'm a Penn State fan. He's a force multiplier. You know what I mean? He could do so many things for you. He's a really nasty blocker, and you have to have that. And I really like that about him. He's a gritty player. He's going to smash you in the mouth, and he's going to like it. So, that's a football player. So if anybody thinks that that's not worth a 7th pick in the draft, it's crazy. You know, if we get him, I'll be elated, you know. But I still think we do need a safety. I don't really know who's out there, but that's definitely a position that Aaron's going to have to fill. I don't know what you think about it, Jake, but or if anybody else thinks about it.
Yeah, look, they have a lot of holes. To me, you got to favor the premium positions early. I think their first 3 picks have to be starters. So then you go from there. Then you're trying to supplement the rest of your roster with the other picks. They can't do it all in the draft. They have too many things they need. It's why I think they need to add some guys in free agency afterwards.
Yeah, and a lot of people in Memphis, they like this Jackson Dart kid. I'm not really sold on him yet.
I wouldn't take him at 7. I think he's too big. He's too big of a project to take that type of pick at 7.
No, he's more of a 3rd round pick, if you ask me.
He'll probably go in the 1st round though, because of the desperation.
Oh, really?
Position.
You think?
2nd round at the latest. Yeah, I mean he's very talented, but he's only played 30 career snaps from under center, so he has to learn. He shouldn't start right away. He's got to sit for a year and learn.
Okay, I mean that's what every NFL quarterback should do, but they don't have that.
A lot of them, but sometimes you get C.J. Stroud or Jaden Daniels. To be fair, so every quarterback's a little different.
Yeah, they are. But I mean, I'm a guy. I would like a guy to sit a year or 2 to learn, like Pennington did. You know, that's the premier way to do it. But I'm in this chef's competition. I'm gonna put it in the comments below. It's for like, I don't know, some weird chef thing that my girlfriend wanted me to join. So I'm, checking it out for her. But, I'm really hyped about Aaron Glenn being the coach. I know I told you that yesterday. Just like looking through old pictures that I had, like all my cutouts. I still have them from the 90s. I saved all that shit because I'm a dork. But, it just brings back so many memories for me. Like I was in the military in 1998 during that season. And, I had to watch the games at like 3 a.m. I was over in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And that was an amazing season for me. And he was such a big part of it. That interception he had early in the season to seal the victory against the Patriots was awesome. I remember that kickoff return or the field goal return.
Yeah.
I mean, we ended up losing the game, but
he's the second best corner in Jet history. I mean, before Revis, Glenn was the guy. Like that's what they said.
Oh yeah, Glenn was he was amazing. I remember one of his first games was a preseason game against the Eagles. I went to watch him, and he fumbled a couple of the punt returns, and everybody was razzing him. But after that, he was just such a great guy. And I just want them to build this the right way,
Amen.
And I think he's going to do that.
Hey, Pork, a lot of people are noticing your smoke alarm behind you going off. You got to replace the batteries, they're saying.
Oh, I do? I don't really give a shit, but
yep.
I mean, I smoke enough weed in here that it never goes off, so.
Love it.
Only when I cook, so it'll go off a little bit.
We're excited to have another chef be a part of the caller rotation. You, Chef Kevin, my guy Chef Nico works for the Yankees. I mean, we got some great chefs.
Oh yeah, that's all. That's awesome. My chef thing is I'm the ghetto gourmet. I try to take all the cheapest ingredients.
Beast Breaker's a chef as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a big chili guy. I won a bunch of competitions down here in the South. They hate me for it. Because, you got a Yankee coming to the South kicking their ass. They hate that shit.
Yep.
But I love it. So I eat it up. But Showboats this weekend. I'll be at the game. I'm one of the Showboat super fans. I got the Reggie White throwback last week.
That's cool.
Half of the money went to St. Jude's here in Memphis. We have a big children's hospital here. And it's pretty awesome. Helps a lot of kids.
What branch of the military did you serve?
I was Army infantry.
Well, thank you for your service, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, Fort Drum, New York, too. So that sucked up there. It was really cold.
Yeah.
Watertown, New York. You ever been there? It's a rough
I have.
spot.
I went to school in Ithaca, so I know cold winters.
Oh yeah. You're definitely you know it.
Yeah, it's At one point, one of my years at Ithaca, it was colder in Ithaca, New York with the wind chill than it was in Antarctica. That was like a known thing. Like there was a day where it was actually colder in Ithaca than Antarctica.
Yeah, people don't believe it, like how cold it gets. And that was 25 years ago. Thank God. I don't got to sleep in that shit no more. Now I'm down in the heat in the South.
I love it. Well, I'll tell you what, Port, keep calling. All right. Yeah, you're a big time caller. I can see. You're in this tournament next year. I can see it now.
Hey, well, I love the tournament. I love the characters. We have a great bunch of guys on here. We all love the Jets. That's the best part about it.
Amen.
Jet
Hopefully the Jets start loving us, Pork. Wouldn't that be nice? So we love them. We give them unconditional love. They don't deserve it. Super chat from Ron. He sent it in earlier, but we had the Bonesy and Gary showdown. Jake, is there a right tackle in the draft we can get after Warren? I believe there is. Yeah, I think there's a couple guys. So they take Warren at 7. I think there's a scenario where the Jets could take Ariante Ursary from Minnesota in the second round. I think they could take Kelvin Banks probably can go in the first round. Josh Simmons maybe could be there. The tackle from Ohio State. Josh Connerly Jr. Honestly, no one's talking about this. What if the Jets are like, let's take Warren at 7. We'll trade into the first round and we'll get our tackle. Why not? Right? Maybe the Jets are playing the comp pick formula because they know they're going to get a 4th round pick next year. So they're willing to trade a pick next year. Their 4th next year and their 2nd this year to get back into round 1. End of round 1, they get a tackle. How do we know that's not being like? There's options. They could maybe do that to get their tackle, or maybe they trade down, pick up a couple picks. Say they do that deal with the Saints I talked about as a possible idea, right? Saints want to come up for Sanders at 7 if he's there. Get some picks from the Saints. Use some of those picks. Come back into round 1, leveraging a high second round pick that you do have, which is 42, and take whoever the best remaining tackle is. Maybe it's Banks. Maybe it's Connerly. Maybe it's Simmons. Maybe they just wait to the second round to take Ursary or the guy from Arizona whose name is impossible to pronounce, Sava Savina. I don't know. He might be more of a guard, but the point is there's guys. There's options. Bang Mateo with your daily stupidity. Olu played and started. Congrats. So did Brandon Coleman. That does not make him a franchise OT. You're going to try and sit here and tell me that Olu wasn't really good when he played? Seriously. Bang, that's your argument right now? You think I'm just saying Olu's good because he went out there and played? No, he looked good when he played. He looked very good when he played. Shut up. Enough people have said that he's going to be good that I believe it. We watched it. Unreal. All right, couple calls left, and then we wrap. Adam and then Johnny Boy. Hello, Adam.
Hey, how things going?
Living the dream, Adam. How are you?
Good, finally. I've been meaning to call, just haven't had a chance. I'd be in and out a little bit in the backstage. So the Breece Hall thing, I mean, I definitely don't trade him right now because I think this is like the lowest value you'd get for him. But I don't think we can ignore the fact that his top speed is down, and he led, I think it was number 5 in drops across all positions. I mean, it's a real problem. And that's why he's not going to get you much right now in return. But I really hope that he turns it around because I think we all love him as a player. But
he had a bad year. He had a disappointing year. Same with a lot of guys.
Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, I mean, someone would have to really overpay to move him. But I could see it happening too. I mean, that's why like when there's smoke, there's fire, as Wilpa would say. So I thought that was interesting. And I know like you've been saying the same thing. I think trade back is the best scenario for us if we can get 4 picks in the first 3 rounds. We have 4 holes that we're totally missing right now. Like we need an OT, we need a DT, we need a wide receiver, we need a tight end. You can't do that with 3 picks, but you have to have somebody there that's going to do it. Every day I do the Pro Football Network draft simulator, and a really interesting one happened where Mason Graham was available at 7, but Seattle offered not just a trade down in the first, but both of their second rounders, which was an insane trade.
Yeah, do it. It won't happen in real life, but do it in a mock.
Well, of all teams, Seattle, who we fleeced with Jamal Adams, I mean, could it happen again? That'd be hilarious. But that would have been a pretty wild outcome. But I think that's really the issue. Like if they stick and pick Membo or Warren, I get it. And to your point, I think there's plenty of OTs available in the second round. I think hopefully, we get a receiver and we get an OT in the first two picks. And then I guess at that point, it just depends on philosophy. Do you want to strengthen the O-line and extend offensive drives, or do you want to have a better defensive tackle and stop the other team's offensive drive so you can get the ball back? I don't know what their strategy is going to be unless they can fix both lines at the same time. So I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Sign me up, Adam. All right. You manifest Seattle giving us both their 2s to move from 7 to 18. All right.
I'd like that. Pro Football Focus did it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adam is too cool. All right. Last chance to super chat if you want it read. Also, please buy your draft ticket. I will keep pushing it until we sell out. Meet Fireman Ed and hang out with me and a bunch of crazy Jet fans at Clinton Hall. Your drink ticket, or your ticket, includes a complimentary drink and automatic entry into our raffle. Can I tell you guys some of the prizes I have cooked up here for the raffle? I've added more. I haven't made the graphics for it yet because I've been busy, but I'm working hard on this for everyone who's coming out. So here are some of the giveaway items for the raffle that night. Signed Sauce jersey, signed Klecko jersey, signed Jermaine Johnson jersey, signed Mangled jersey, signed Garrett Wilson helmet, signed Breece Hall trading card, signed Aaron Glenn card, signed Chad Pennington card, a 4-pack of tickets to a Yankees home game, 2 tickets to a Jets home game. I'm working on more. And I believe I'll have at least 1 Aaron Glenn jersey to give away that night. So please buy your ticket. You're automatically entered to win any of those prizes when you buy your ticket. And you can hang out with Fireman Ed. Also, reminder about our raffle for this week. Top 2 prizes include a signed Joe Namath helmet and a signed Curtis Martin helmet. And the Joe Namath helmet is a Super Bowl III helmet. It's not your typical Namath helmet. These are rare. To your phone calls we go. Johnny Boy, close us out. Johnny, what do you got?
What up, Jake? Bro, that Super Bowl III helmet, that's tough, man. That was fires. And I've never seen one like that at all.
They're rare, man. They're rare.
Hey, y'all need to throw as many raffle tickets and go cop that one because that's definitely rare, man. So that was dope. I was calling in really quickly to kind of.
I missed your super chat yesterday, by the way, Johnny, when the show was over. I'm bummed. Are you going to be in the city at all when you're here this weekend?
I am. So myself and Snowball, we finally meet you, even though I feel like I've known you forever and a day and all that. But I should be able to see you this upcoming weekend. Friday night.
I'll be at the Badlands event Friday, but that's not going all night, so I'll be around.
Yeah, Printers Alley, right?
Yeah, I'm my segment with them I think is at 8:30, but I'll be there before hanging out with everyone.
Yeah, I think we're trying to get over there prior to all of that. So I'll hit you up, man, in regards to that as well. But we should be up there. Now I was calling in to weigh in regards to the Bonesy and Gary matchup. That's a tough one, man, because I have to say that I'm gonna have to go with my guy Bonesy, man. And I love Gary. I met Gary when he came down to Virginia Beach. We were here, we were chilling, we went out. Good dude, but I met Bonesy as well. But I think the knockout for me is, both are Jet fans, right? Both are Met fans. But Gary is a Nets fan. Bonesy's a Knicks fan. And our Knicks are in the playoffs. And it looks like I think we're going to play Detroit first round, right? If it all ends up or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. But I got to go with my guy Bonesy, man. The OG original 1OP, original Asmaniac. I think he was an Asmaniac before the word Asmaniac even came out. But just wanted to call in regards to that, man. Look forward to this Friday. And, yeah, that was it. Appreciate
Johnny
you,
Boy with a strong endorsement of Mr. Bonesy. Good call from Johnny. Appreciate you. Looking forward to meeting you, Johnny. Jets Johnny, not to be confused with Johnny Boy, has gifted 5 memberships, and I received another track from Jets Johnny. So, JJ, get ready for this afternoon, baby. Aaron 35, Soldiers of God, JR24, Rick Hayen, and Cardcade Central all receiving channel memberships. Ladies and gentlemen, Bo knows. Bo C. 10 memberships. A chance at the Namath helmet. A chance at the Martin helmet. And guess what? I'm giving you guys a sneak peek at prize 3. You ready for this? Sign Joe Klecko football. Retirement numbers is our theme for the Jets. Jets retired numbers. So, Klecko signed football. Martin signed helmet. Namath Super Bowl 3 rare helmet. Your top prizes in the Asmaniac raffle for this upcoming week. Here we go. These are from Bo, Jets Forever, AB Baby, Jay-Z Jet Fan Z, Dirty Jesus, Sean, Donnie Button, Lord Streets, Douche Nozzle, Alan Avital, Atlanta Jet Fan, all receiving channel memberships. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not done. Mimosa with a 20 spot. Her Florida Gators are national champs, and she's celebrating in style. Unbelievable. Mimosa was a D1 swimmer at UF, and she's been chomping, I'd imagine, all day for her Gators. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mimosa.
Thank you, Mimosa, for your generosity and tremendous support of the Jake Asman Show.
All these coming in at the buzzer here. Edward Caban, seconds 8-4. Trevor Bollinger, Jonathan Galla, Alan Douchebag, Douchey Doey, Regardless, Josh P. The Prez, shout out to the company, Peter, Mrs. Miss Coco, JC, Matt Mason, Keenan Good, Brian Lemos, Xavier Poe, Jets Legend, 1999. Those are from Mimosa, but wait, there is more from Mimosa that is still loading here. We have a glitch in the system. Holy crap. K-Pack, Mac Daddy, Eric Bedford, Solami22, Dane-O, Earl Bedford, Lucas S., Mike Hawk Hertz, all receiving memberships there. We are not done. I'm seeing more come through. Brazil Jets, are you kidding me? 10.
Get your ass off my super chats. Some of these are gifted memberships too.
Hey.
The hell with it.
K Panch, Mac Daddy, Andres 1K. If these are repeat names, it's because the system is currently glitching. We're trying to get the Jets names here from Brazil Jets. Esteban, Dan Maldonado, Franco Agostini, Fendi 007, James Napoleon. Ladies and gentlemen, more memberships. Are you kidding me? Jets Johnny, whose diss track's coming with another 5 spot of channel memberships. Whoa.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby.
No member left behind here. These are all channel members. Jason Alicia, Justin Pringle, Hollywood D Rules, Michael Beckerman, all receiving channel memberships. Let's go. Oh, we're not done. Are you kidding me? Bo knows. Bo C in the raffle for 10 more. Wow.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Here we go. 10 more from Bo. William Justice, Chris 75, Green Team, Jets, Brian, Alan Douche Nozzle, Steve World, AR 631, Avatal Stinks, Colton Narduzzo, all receiving channel memberships. Wow. Unbelievable. Thank you all at the buzzer here. I was not expecting that. I thought we were done. Oh. Give it up to everyone who just gifted a membership there. They will all be entered in the raffle later this week. We now have 3 prizes that we have announced, and we'll work on more. Charlie writes in here, Luke Lachey is the real deal. He was hurt. That's the Iowa tight end. I mean, if they get him in the 5th round, you can't complain. We'll see what he is. Did I miss it? I think I might have missed something here. We got Johnny, Brazil. I think we got everyone. Thank you to Johnny, Bo, Brazil Jets, Mimosa, of course. Everyone who just gifted there. Truly appreciate it. Kashmir says, what's your perfect draft for the Jets? I mean, the easy answer is great players. I think they need to come away with 3 starters. I think pick 7's got to be a high impact player, and they got to have some legit contributors at 42 and 73. Like now for me, I would take Warren. I would take the best available receiver or tight end at 42. I'm just going to, Now, for me, my perfect draft is we trade down from 7 and get extra picks. I don't know what team that is yet, so I'll do no trades for this answer. To me, it's Warren or trade down. They can't do it. If they take Membu, then you better get me a weapon in the second round. And I think they're going to take Membu, which I'm not going to criticize them for. I get it. I just hope they get it right with the next picks. Anyway. Wow. What a show. What a show. Beast, what'd you think of the show?
Not bad. Just doing a little cleaning on today.
Again?
Yeah. Polishing all the toys, polishing the ring, polishing everything up, making it sparkle.
Right.
You know what time it is? It's spring cleaning time. You know what time it is? Soap.
Of course.
Sponge.
Yep.
Action.
You ever get a
camera
sponge
action.
bath? Bobby would get a sponge bath from a nurse. What do
Oh,
you think of that?
no. That's a little too much. Too much.
You don't like a good sponge bath?
That's ridiculous. I don't do sponge baths. I rather go in the shower and just like freedom. Yo, just like that. But I'm gonna say it's one time. Let's worry about getting good draft picks, not this bullshit draft picks that I'm seeing. And we're not trading Breece Hall. You can forget that nonsense. Just would you silence, or should I do one of these?
Tremendous. Thank you very much, Beast. Imagine giving Beast a sponge bath. That would take a long time. Thank you, Beast. Great call. Cashmere Black at the buzzer here. Would you take Carter over Warren? Yeah. If a dual Carter's there, yeah, I would take him over Tyler. A dual Carter, I think it might be the best player in the draft. Hell yeah. This will not happen. But if any of the 3 players that I'm about to name are there at 7, I don't care who else is there. You take them. Cam Ward, he won't be there. Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter. That's it. If they're there at 7, run the card in. I don't care who it is. If it's Cam Ward, I prefer him. He's a quarterback. He's the most important position in sports. It's not going to happen. Anyway, what a show. Thank you all. We're back in a few hours. No matchup on the afternoon show. Instead, we will have a Final Four preview. Hopefully, we hear from Neil and Lowski during the afternoon show to set the stage for their matchup tomorrow morning. But before we get out of here, let's make it official. Congratulations to Mr. Bonesy. He's officially headed to the Final Four. We started with 64. And now we are down to 4. Bonesy defeats Lane 64-35 with 633 votes that were cast. Your look at the Final Four bracket. Congrats to our champion of the Chicken Soup region, King Lowski. Our champion of the Hood region, Neil. Our champion of the Butter region, Gary. And now officially our champion of the Train region, Mr. Bonesy. We now have 4. 4 remaining. And Asmaniac Madness, can you believe it? Tomorrow morning, Lowski and Neil. Tomorrow afternoon, Bonesy and Gary. A champion will be declared Thursday afternoon when our national title game will tip off. Unbelievable. Again, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for making this tournament so much fun and great content. Can't wait to find out who wins. Unbelievable. Everyone's a winner if you made it to the tournament. If you watch the show, you're a part of this. So thank you to everyone out there. On that note, that does it. Appreciate all of you. We will be back this afternoon. It could get wild. I don't know if it's going to get more wild than Gator's most recent song about JJ, but it could get pretty wild. So come ready because there's madness on the way. Again, that's the end of the show. Go Jets. Talk to you guys in a few hours. Jets. 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 Jets.
Reed in Battleboro. What's up, Reed?
Hey, Chris. How are you?
Good. How are you, buddy?
I've been better. Having a hard time sleeping since I moved out here from Glen Oaks.
Oh, yeah?
But
I know all about having trouble sleeping, buddy.
I was calling about the Jets, but I actually had a basketball point, too, real quick, if you don't mind, about St. John. So before the season started, I made a friendly wager with my friend who's a Chiefs fan. His team is Xavier. He's a big Xavier fan.
Okay.
And he's like, oh yeah, Xavier's gonna win the Big East this year. Put your money where your mouth is. So we bet $1,000 on that. Not the regular season, the Big East tournament. And he's got Xavier, coached by Big Cho. They got Lane Kerner, Charles Gorman, Bobby Midnight. But they're a good team. But I think the Johnny's got them. I'm hoping. Who knows?
Yeah, well, you're hoping they get picked off on Thursday against Xavier.
Yeah, in regards to the Jets point, we need a quarterback. I get it. We've been there, quarterback hell forever and whatnot. I know a couple nights ago you were saying you would pick Sanders, I think.
Yes, if Sanders is there at 7, I would take him, yes.
I don't know. Cam Ward, 100%, I would take him. But what about this kid from Arizona State, Dixon Hole? His receivers with the Bonesy brothers, Joe and Anthony. And Jaden Daniels left LSU at Arizona State because this kid was outperforming him. The only problem is he's like an 8th-year senior because of that whole COVID thing. So he's like almost like a Chris Winkie type guy or like Rick Kent from Brigham State. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have real strong opinions on him. I'll be totally honest with you. I haven't broke down the film, but I'm not going to take him 7. You want to take him later? You want to take any one of these quarterbacks? It doesn't have to be him. It could be whoever you want.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the greatest shoe salesman since Al Bundy, the great Mr. Bonesy. Hey, Bonesy!
Thank my brother. Thank my brother.
Bonesy, did you see Gators impersonation? They were crazy, right?
Gators freaking crazy, man. I don't even know what to say anymore. He's just crazy. I want you Gator to do this thing about it. It's just so crazy. I'm trying to sell the shoes, but oh man, I don't know about the Jets that I got shoes to sell, but Gators look crazy, man. I can't take him anymore. He's just crazy. Oh my God, he's crazy.
Well, one of the greats, Mr. Bonesy.
Yes.
Oh!
Would you take Robert Griffin III again in the first round?
I mean, at what
just
point?
Yes or no, Jake. Just yes or this is not a preamble. It's not filibuster. It's not Spurs about 50 things. Yes or no. Would you take? There you go.
Second. Oh my God, dude.
I know that I'm on. And remember, vote for me. Come here, Decker. Come say we're up tomorrow in the Final Four. One last sales pitch. We got to beat Mr. Bones now. Vote for us.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.